Alrighty then, fellas, my gamers. It do be Sunday evening, so that means we are just about to get ready with our weekly show matches here on Bounty Hunters. As you may know, the name of the game tonight is gonna be Guilty Gear Strive in the first to 7 wins format of the competition. Skill-based matchmaking applies to all of our matches, and we're of course open to, players of all skill levels to participate. I'm your usual host QK, and now let's get a quick look-see as for what is in store for tonight. So matches ranging from all skill levels. I think this week we had quite a few higher end signups, so the card skill level overall is gonna be decently high, I want to say. We're starting the evening off with Detada going for another week in a row in Random Select Challenge, this time up against Spooky. Both of these players are fairly accustomed to this format. What other cool things? There's a couple of players making sort of a comeback from a long time ago. In the second slot, we have Dr. Holiday, aka Tim, who used to be much more active at the start of the life cycle of Strive. Hasn't been competing, as far as I can remember, on Bounty Hunters since I think it was 2023 that we've seen Doc Holiday last. But we also got one of the Finnish sort of juggernauts, Elda, making a comeback. Hasn't been, I guess Elda did play that one Bedman game somewhat decently recently. But another player who we've probably seen more at the sort of the start of the Guilty Gear Strive journey today is gonna play Abba in the matchup slot number 3. And speaking of those Finnish warriors, now that Elda was mentioned, we also got Ember there, of course, on the same character, Abba, but Rygand also making a comeback with a different character, or making an appearance with a completely different new shiny character. Is gonna be Leo. We of course maining the May, but has gone through quite a few different sub characters along the years, and the newest acquisition is going to be May. As for players making their debuts tonight, in the last slot we got davopotato. Was meant to play previous week, but unfortunately their match fell through. It's going to face Emu tonight. And then in the slot number 5 we got Angeloomega piloting that Biken. Otherwise, our roster is... Actually, no. We also got Oren. Oren in the second last slot, applying on that Dizzy. I think this is Oren's first match. Let me... Actually, I'm doubting myself. Let me quickly consult my data sheet. Yeah, this would be Oren's first time. Yeah, okay. Just getting that out of the way. But yeah. Otherwise, it's the usual 7 slots matchup after the cursed week last week, where we were only able to play 2 matches. And our first one of the evening, of course, is gonna be the random slot match. Let's advance this plot line and start prepping up for the first bout. This is gonna be a random select match once again. To remind you how this works, we are technically because there is no good random pick in the client itself, we are going to be randoming a character for these 2 players between games on the stream side, let's put it like that. And we got a couple of fun tools for that. Let me actually drop a message to Detada as well as Spooky first. And while we are waiting for the players to arrive, we can move on to our rolling interface. Ta-da! So we got 2 tier lists here on the screen, which represents the player's self-evaluation for how strongly they feel about being able to pilot these characters. And the first random for Detada would be a Baiken. And I think both players wanted to do no duplicates, so that means we are also, as a character is being randomed into, we remove it from the pool so it does not appear again in the subsequent rolls. And Ino is gonna be the pick for Spooky. Now, let's see where those are on the players' tier lists. So Detada random into that Baiken, which is in the sort of basics tier, middle tier, and Ino also in the middle tier for Spooky. So starting off with middle of the road kind of picks here. Both players on their sort of B tier characters, if you will. Not the lowest power level, not the highest power level, but should know a couple of combos usually when you get random into one of these. Oh, starting with a parry immediately, and those parries are gonna heal quite a lot with a cross-up Yozan, getting a lot of frame advantage. The big daring frame trap there, but no follow-up for Spooky. It's a little difficult to work with those dives. You, of course, are not very safe when you land those on block. Then also you have to follow them up with something afterwards. Going with the classics. Oh, nice check there on the stroke the big tree. Matchup knowledge. Even if you're playing a character that you aren't used to piloting, it's always the same against Ino. You read a forward dash approach with that. Ooh, the deflect shield is gonna get some value here. But yeah, you read a forward dash approach, you do something anti-airy, and if you think Ino's gonna go low, try to approach you on the ground, you press one of your low buttons. Oh, big hit here for the... What's that move called against? The Mad Love? That's it. Successful parry once again, skipping to the other side. Big value here. Taking the corner away from Spooky. But of course, going back to neutral is always a little bit of an ordeal for, I guess, both of these characters. While Ino's neutral is kind of good, it is also very committal, and Baiken is probably... Oh, wow, that thought! We get a PRC slowdown here, drops the combo, plus frame still after the Yozan, and out of the corner again. Yeah, representing a lot of these airborne Yozans as a space control tool, especially when you're moving backwards, tends to be like very safe kind of thing. Slowing down the frame, but that does not prevent Detada from taking an aggressive approach here. 2B, dash cancel, and Spooky was ready for that one. Even rounds, even bursts. Gonna have to work for that first win of the set. Of course, after every... Ooh, there we go, the slow startup of the Mad Love there. Cut the recovery of that parry, and now find the hit, FRC. Ooh, actually, decently meter efficient combo there. So the FRC does make it so that you're, first of all, not losing as much meter as normal RC, but also the meter build penalty is gonna be shorter. And now, Detada does not have access to 50 yet. Does have it now, but it is too late. Here comes the float dash. Jump heavy, controlling the space and smacking Detada out of the sky. And into the rolling interface we go again. Picking up a character on this next one for Detada is gonna be a Jacko. And for Spooky, Lady Luck is gonna introduce a character called Baiken. So it is Baiken this time for Spooky. Let's see, Spooky's Baiken is decently high, and Jacko is in the basics tier as well. So you could argue there is maybe a small edge, of course, when you sort of random into a higher self-evaluation tier than your opponent. But of course, these sort of tier lists don't take into account the sort of overall, the fundamentals, the basics, the skill level of the players. So like a basics tier for one player that plays random could be very different from other, you know, skill level players' basic tier. With the instant air dash, not a drive-by yours, and a close slash out of the sky there. Good pick up buttons there for Spooky. However, Detada now containing Samurai in the corner. We have so much meter as well. If, in case Detada has, you know, lapped some of those, oh, the delayed option there with the 2D. Got the recovery of the parry. Tried to break the wall holding a minion, but not quite getting the spacing there. It's okay, we still got it. Starting with the round start Yozan. That big roundabout roundhouse. What's the apparatus called that you have in amusement parks? Ferris wheel, that's the one. A Ferris wheel of hitboxes, Yozan. Also called, I think, pizza cutter by the community, the type of move that represents. But now, Spooky working with the corner. Ooh, actually managed to get the super cancel there. I'm not sure if Spooky kind of sent it or knew that that was going to be the stick there. But that is absolutely the right play. Shooting gun again. Come here, straight into the close slash. Spending Wild Assault as well. However, there was a gap there. Unintentional, I presume. 6B works out. Both players wanting one more hit. The gun makes sense, especially on the ground. If the opponent just blocks there, it is going to be a plus for you. But if they try to struggle out, they might actually collide with the big explosion hitbox, especially if they're like half screen away. Sending a couple of minions, missing with the jump slash. That's gonna put you in big landing recovery. Waking up with a throw once again. Ooh, the cross up there with the attack command. And now, I was about to say Detada has Spook exactly where you want him. But Baiken is a sneaky little bastard with that frame 1 parry. That kind of calls out frame traps, safe jumps as well as meaties pretty efficiently. Working with the one lone minion, can we get the finisher? The opponent should be high enough, so that's gonna be Illusion Driver to the ground. It's gonna be Detada opening it up here. Both players one win. Looking like a match developing here. So Abba is the next pick for Detada. A prelude to what is to come for tonight, because we have two Abba players in the roster. We are gonna see quite a lot of Abba later. Kai is the pick for Spooky. So Abba Kai. Abba we can find in... My eyes zooming on the right target. Where is the Abba? Am I blind? I'm literally blind. Is Abba not in Detada's tier list? No, it is in the not confident tier.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Right into it we go. Big counter hit there from the direct late into the corner. Spooky potentially looking for one more good hit. That's a lot of counter hits. Is the juggle still there? No, the OTG hit. Let's see, Spooky still had that burst in the pocket. We are in a decently good position trying to reach with that far slash. However, the tiny reach ain't quite enough, but now one install and a dream. I think you should be able to FD here. Even better, cashing out, but I think Spooky actually had quite a lot of hit points here. I think the super was probably in sort of expecting to take a lot of chip damage there from the RTL. So that way, now that I think about it, that reversal super actually makes quite a lot of sense for Detada. It is only unfortunate that you kind of have to blow all of your jelly in it as well. But there was a potential. Oh, the frame trap. Had to go straight into DP. Whipping a little bit, both players whipping with the what's it called? Big combo inbound, resetting into the overhead. This is quite a lot of damage on the wall. Uninstalling, not quite getting the bar slash out. But Detada is working with a lot of tension here. As well as activation ready to go. Deflect Shield is gonna be super powerful, actually get to punish that judgment that Danzai moved from Abba, quite strong in powering through the opponent's moves. But if you ever are going to be missing with it, that sort of puts you in a really bad position. It is quite whip punishable, lots of active and recovery frames on it. So the Deflect Shield makes quite a lot of sense. Caught the enemy backdashing airborne. No confirm though. That can be a really difficult to confirm in Guilty Gear games. But we got what we came for. Half of the opponent's life. Positive bonus. Persevere, keeping the corner. Ooh, nice block of the overhead. That is roughly like, what, 20 frame reaction time? Not the easiest in the world. Powering through with the downside this time. We still have a couple of more seconds of jelly left. Trying to get the ski crab in order to get out of the mode. Had to come out manually. But now Detada still, despite the life disadvantage, does have all the makings of a comeback here. But basically only needs the special gauge. Here comes the activation. Now you're gonna guess. We're guessing. Ooh, you can actually go through fireballs as well. The deep dash into another downside should seal the deal, unless I spoke too soon. Oh, got the backdash. That was up to. Gosh, that was so close. Detada would have absolutely busted there in just a couple more frames. So basically, do or die. There was a couple of different sort of choices that you could have made there. You could have taken it super safe and just uninstall, but Detada was like, nah, we're just going in with the last bit of jelly. Johnny is the pick for Detada for the next one. And Spooky looks like gonna get that Leo. Johnny Leo. So Johnny is once again in the basics tier. Detada has been getting those picks quite a bit. Leo situated in the strong column of Spooky's tier list. So this would typically be maybe an advantage for Spooky, but who knows? You also have to consider like how the matchup is played on not necessarily like a top level, but how easy the matchup is to get into, I think is the more important point to consider when it comes to random select matches, where people are not gonna be like working with full confidence of the character, full toolkit of the character. Sort of just having really good, favorable interactions with your BNB tools compared to the BNB tools of your opponent is going to be super important. But we are sending it here out of the corner with the weapon X to the other side. However, there was a gap, so he was a little late and couldn't get that cross up there as a meaty. Ooh, wait a second! The special move, what is that one called? The turbulence out of the corner. That might have not been what Spooky actually wanted, because he got crossed up there by Detada's Johnny. But now working with but Leo is best at go into the back turn stance and then pressure and combo the opponent down. Ooh, just a little bit too far away. The deflect, or so not the deflect shield, the FD is working wonders for Detada. Ooh, chasing the backdash with that Berserker Slash. And now, ooh, there we go. And takes the burst as well. That's gonna be big going into the last round here for Spooky. Detada has to start from basically scratch here. Not completely impossible to build this burst in Guilty Gear Strive. Ooh, but vigilant as ever. Waiting for potentially reversal DP. Opponent does not. And Detada safely maintains the pressure position, breaks the wall. And this is what I was talking about. Detada basically started with no burst whatsoever, but look at this. With this positive bonus, we might potentially get into it, but only if Spooky manages to get the pressure here. It's kind of close though. I would say maybe Detada actually won't be able to get the burst back, but maybe he also does not even need it. ODG, Mistfinder into another Mistfinder. Even if there was meter for Spooky, that would have not ended well, let me tell you that much. It was in quite a bit of a checkmate situation there. Maybe with 100 meter that could have been still playable. But yeah, some characters when they get contained in the corner. Bedman is what Detada rocks with next, which is actually one of the strongest characters on the top end of the chart. This is the maximum power level pick. However, this is also, I think, the maximum power level pick for Spooky. This is actually main versus main, is it not? That is a funny coincidence. All right, we're gonna see basically the full potential of what these players can unleash here. Although I dare say that I think if we think about like the overall sort of skill level of the players, of course these random select matches are sort of constructed with the players like average skill level of all of their characters collectively in mind. But I would say if it comes to just like your main power level, I think Detada is probably a little bit ahead. So in this, I would say Detada probably has the edge, maybe, but at the moment, it is Spooky who is on the driver's seat. Gets a big counter hit from Master's Hammer. And with the new conversions as well, I think Master's Hammer conversions got a little different since the last patch for Slayer. Not really changing things all that much, but, you know, just a little bit. Oh, wait, is it? Okay, so we're actually engaging the install mode through going through the wall, and now we actually have sort of a checkmate here, because that install mode deals quite a lot of chip damage. Some of those, like, for example, the lasers become guard crushes, not very easy to deal with. So probably setting up, other than just getting a hard knockdown, just setting the safest possible win condition for themselves. Now with the big combo here, Black Bead, but we take those, as we say in the industry, into the forward dash, close slash, quick wall break. The life advantage is overwhelming. Checking if Detada would like to donate their burst, but good smart hold there, being patient. Take it to the next round, and now Detada with a massive advantage. Completely opposite of what we had earlier. However, here comes the counter hit. Went for a hard bait. Detada not quite ready to punish or burst yet. And another one. That's a lot of value for Detada for those hard baits. Now just basically forcing Spooky to use the wires as well. Spooky's completely dry here. And now Detada has the stage set up for a huge steal here. Big counter hit from the malfunction. Boom, bam. The third one does whip here. And switching positions from that combo position. Spooky still has a chance with a superior position here. Plus friend from the far slash. Then the wild assault. Get off me. Send the wire C to the other side. Using the stalling. The error stalling move in the air, changing the timing of the anti-air. That is experience right there. Those are the kind of niche tools that you would probably not use unless you've piloted this character times and times over before. Alright, the newest character, Lucy, appearing for Detada next. Rather in the bottom of the tier list, not most bottom, but like not confident tier. Whereas Spooky is, I think this is one of Spooky's better characters, right? Yeah, it's in the A tier. So this next one would be sort of, I guess like overwhelmingly in Spooky's favor, if there ever was a match like that. Then time to strike is now. Time for Spooky to potentially even the score here. Lucy is a very mobile and very far-reaching poke character. So in that sense, I wonder if in that sense Lucy could potentially be a little tricky for Johnny to deal with. Johnny has lost quite a lot of mobility in his forward and backdash recently in the patch. And that little change makes a huge difference in, you know, the availability of your neutral jump shimmy here. That I'm working with the not confident pick. Wire C. Ooh, the trade is not good at this point of the life bar. However, able to actually pop that turn up. Oh, dash forward DP, the old classic. working well, especially because you know that your opponent just absolutely does not want to block at that point. Goes for a hard burst bait again, but Detada actually has an option to never touch his burst here in this potential round. You can take a kill, you can take a bullet in the face, and you are still going to be fine saving that burst for the last potential round. Oh, he's gonna use it though. I think I see swipe travel. It's gonna be caught by the super. Not quite enough to execute. You had the 100 meter. Oh, but this time, boom. Detada actually showing some pretty decent basic Lucy stuff. With a pick that was not supposed to be very... not a very confident pick for Detada, but still, like I said, the long buttons, the fast mobility, really good for making stuff happen if you have good fundamentals. In that sort of way, even though sort of they do say that Lucy is a little tricky to play in the current iteration of Guilty Gear Strive because of how your sort of combo structure and pressure works. Probably one of the most comfortable characters to random into if you sort of don't have a lot of experience. All right, next one is going to be Potemkin for Detada, found in the middle tier. And spooky, it is Zato, who can be found in the very most bottom tier. So now this is gonna be a tough turn of events for Spooky. Down 3 games here. Ooh, okay, hold on. I think Detada was probably trying to do the Karabuster there, but didn't quite get the sliding forward. Alright, got the opponent airborne, so that is usually gonna be plus frames for Potemkin. Be very careful here. One touch! Spooky knows, unless you burst here. Ooh, that was kind of smart! Doesn't get punished all too bad. I'm actually surprised that people who put Zato in... Oh, okay, I see what we're doing there. We're like, okay, come at me, bro. Show me the safe approach. Which is usually gonna have to do with your puppet here. But of course, if Zato is not one of your signature characters, this character is very, very tricky to pilot. Working with the solo combo here. Comboing into Amorphous. These are probably the kind of sequences that you're mostly gonna relying on. Just basic Guilty Gear Strive stuff. Did we press a button? No, but this is a mix-up situation to the other side. Be careful not to extend yourself in the Gigantor that is still in there. Multi-hit from the far slash. Looking good for Spooky here. Ooh, 1 pixel away. And another time. Spooky basically standing at the perfect distance to make those busters with. That's kind of cool. Of course, very dangerous if the Potemkin player was to just press buttons on Wake Up. But hey, who's crazy enough to press buttons on Wake Up at this day and age? Doing a little bit of zoning with those drills. To be careful with the single hit drills though, getting armored through. Once again, a lot of options available. Summons into a pose, which was exactly what the doctor ordered right here. Close slash does find a hit, but I think that was backdashing there, making the combo a little tricky to complete. Puppet is out. We are working with Zato stuff here, going into flight. However, I think the starting flight distance was a little too low here and wasn't able to fly over. Time to take it again. Deflect shield, kinda does something, kinda no. Oh no, never mind. Does place Detada in a very surgical distance. Was able to survive a couple more hits. Very close, very close. Spooky almost doing the exact same thing that Detada just did. And almost stealing a win with a matchup that was supposed to be like very non-confident character versus like a decently confident character. Now Detada's next character is gonna be Anji. And Anji is located in the basics tier. Let's see what Spooky is gonna get. Very close to the Venom Abba axis. It is gonna be Abba though. Abba located... Where is Abba? Why do I have difficulties finding Abba today for both of these players? Okay, it's in the mid tier as well. So matching confident tiers in this one. And I guess sort of lucky for Spooky, doesn't have to fight a zoner character here. Although you could argue that like the kind of character Anji is, I wonder if this is like something Abba likes to fight or just doesn't like to fight. Because Anji is a completely different kind of beast. Place neutral, completely different. It's like most of the Anji's power level are in the Gorilla Spin. Suiketsu no Hakobi. That is no surprise, no secret whatsoever. And that makes the meta game at neutral a little bit different compared. Oh, but nice close slash anti-air. Reaching far enough, high enough. Got them with a 2K. Resetting the situation, we still have 5 seconds to work with. Tap the 5D. However, Detada has been so good at standing for those 20-frame overheads. And then close slash, not quite the optimal conversion there. So Spooky still has a small chance. Pop here into normal mode. But again, Anji isn't like the best character for playing neutral with. I guess the butterfly can get you some extra value. Oh no! But also, it can be countered very easily. Now with those 2 parries, Spooky was actually able to get the needed jelly to get into the mode. And now, there's gonna be a pop. Actually gets punished there on the Rekka. The massive reach on Anji. Actually no effort required there. You are perfectly in a range to knock the opponent down and take the round. Oh, but here's the initial hit here. Tried to bait it this time. This time Spooky was almost on the money, but Detada had a small micro delay there before bursting. Allows the burst bait to go through and then still get the burst off. Go for the 2K. The armor frames do actually start here, and you still get a combo. Kinda cool. The second Rekka on the normal mode is quite punishable here. You are very on the edge of being potentially able to install. Spooky might have to wait for a 50 meter here or something. That does dead it. That does do it. We can install in the middle of the combo, no less. Using the wireless all the soul. However, the tricky combo actually ends up missing and Dan just a big active too heavy. We can block here, but the thing is, only thing that we can do is block. If you attempt to do just about anything other than blocking, it is gonna result in a hit. So it is kind of like a self-guard crush in a way. The blood pop state for, or the jelly pop state for Abba, right? You can block, but with an asterisk. Okay, Leo is the pick for Detada here. Let's see, we need some good stuff sent by Lady Luck here. The situation is looking quite dire. Looking like Giovanna is gonna be the pick for Spooky. Comparing these, Leo is in the confident tier for Detada, and Gio located also in the in the top tier of characters. So this would be a comfortable pick for Spooky as well. Another high power level match coming up next. A match that could potentially end up deciding the set here, depending on the outcome. 2 infighters fighting for supremacy. Oh, still able to get the combo off of that? Juggling into far slash instead of close slash. That was kind of cool. Oh, speaking of those close slashes, we got a counter hit one. And being in the confident tier, we definitely know the big combos. Skipping to the other side, trying to reset. No worry, we still have pressure going on. The SDP is what potentially starts a comeback for Detada. YRC into the corner. Okay, that's the old patch YRC. When you're positioned like that, you actually do get the plus, what is it, plus 10 or something? Still from the point blank range. You don't really see those in the modern batch too much. Micro dash bar slash. Especially since the opponent was airborne, gets a very decent combo here for Spooky. Ooh, footsies, baby. Holding the opponent still in the corner. But that does offer Detada an opportunity to burst the opponent in there. And backturn pressure, here we go. if there was a way to get things started, it is definitely this big combo, and potentially looking for one more, especially since we have the 50 meter here. Can PRC the option select, or a PRC option select the throw? We find the frame, the DP on the frame trap. Spooky returns in kind with the only reversal that you have, and reads the opponent successfully. Any combo here, yeah, just don't drop it. All right. We are still online. Granted, it did require a very powerful pick here. A pick from the S tier for Spooky, but at this point, we absolutely take what we can get. Oh, but this is unfortunate for Spooky. Another high tier pick in the form of Unica coming up for Detada. And Bedman is the pick for Spooky. Where is that located? A lot of players are usually not too confident with Bedman. He is in the B tier, in the middle tier. So this is another high pressure do or die situation. Have to overcome the second best pick from your opponent, the Unica. And a tricky thing about Unica could be that, like, depending on how much you've played as of recent or in the couple of previous patches, do you have the counterplay against this character? The second newest DLC character introduced in Guilty Gear Strive. We got the jump slash counter rate. Ooh, I feel like that was a making of a burst bait there. Okay, do it again. Oh, but the glow slash goes to the wrong side. And now Detada in their element, sending the blue slide there as a meaty. Okay, basically saying, I think you're not gonna be holding still. He is slightly more safe than Kai's variant. If you send the off that top, we get a 5 heavy counter hit. Here comes the big money maker for this character. The button that every Unica player is lusting over, just wanting to get that counter hit. And here it is again. Even if you go into a baby combo, it is gonna do quite a lot of damage. Dropping the combo here, unfortunately though. Deflect Shield does get you distance, but the blue laser is still like plus, what is it, plus 12 or something? Let's see what Spooky can do here. 100 meter, of course. Reversal super PRC, the classic, the guarantee to get out of the opponent's pressure. Ooh, we are -3, but we can go into the DP RPS afterwards. The classic anime fighting game, or rather just fighting game story. Okay, but we got the win, and Detada seals the deal. Randoming into two of the strongest characters, especially that's Unica, at the very decisive moment, is what ends up giving enough wind in the sails of Detada, taking this random select match 7-2. I actually forgot, did Detada win the previous week bout as well? Let me check that, just a little bit of, yeah. Detada did take that one as, or wait. No, it was Will who took that. Okay, so coming back second week in a row and taking the win home this time around. Good stuff. Now moving into the next one, we've got Doc Holiday and Scarlet coming up next. Dizzy versus Nagoriyuki. Two hard-hitting characters, but one is slightly softer than the other. Let me actually flip the room back into a rematch, now that I can remember to do that. Okay, there we go. Whoops, I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. Spectate, and oh yeah, let's get our ID as well. We got Scarlet on the way as well. That gives us just a little bit of time to talk smack about the matchup, which we probably don't know much about, huh? Other than Dizzy is still... I mean, the sentiment around Dizzy has been a little bit more positive than the release patch, but is still considered widely as like not like the toppest of top competing characters for sure. Some of her biggest problems are that she does donate a lot of meter as well as burst to the opponent if you want to do your absolute optimal combos. So it kind of gives you a dilemma, like, are you gonna cash out and give opponents those resources, or are you gonna cut your combo short and maybe concentrate more on the Oki aspect perhaps? Whereas Nagoriyuki just, you know, especially against softy characters like this, just find the hit, find the one shot, and you're good. Dizzy is not like the most strong offensively oriented character either.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society.
So once you maybe manage to lock in on the pressure sequence, especially if you get her in the corner, the only kind of like strong tool that she is working with is like universal meter burners, as well as her reversal super. And she's not quite as mobile as she used to be in previous games as well. So like no super good jumps, no multiple air dashes. She's much more grounded in this version of Guilty Gear, which could be a problem against Nagoriyuki, but let's see how it goes here. Trading into far slash. Holiday with the super jump manages to get a good hit and forcing the first burst out of Scarlet. I think we had this talk about the ice floor previously, and I forgot which Nago special moves it actually affects. I think it was maybe all of them. I guess we're gonna see as the set progresses. There is probably gonna be a lot of that ice floor to be played against. Wings are active. This means you are sort of working here with a time limit. Oh, misses the throw, unfortunately. That would have probably been enough to get the trigger there. And in the danger zone, the backdash, or sorry, the back Fukyo sort of shimmy, if you will, forcing the opponent to do something that Fukyo backwards could be a Fukyo forwards, which you kind of have to RPS against in those pressure situations against Nagoriyuki. Now stealing the corner, got the backdash as well with the small Michael sword. Ooh, the dash forward 5k. This is the high level Dizzy that we've been looking for. So even though this is 5k looking very unassuming, getting wings here. Ooh, drops the combo. This could be bad. Look at the massive damage just for one hit. However, reads the bite, backdash out of it. Scarlet still fighting for the ownership of the first game here. But yeah, 5k for Dizzy. She is a strange character as well. One of her biggest weaknesses is that she doesn't have like super good normals. 5k is actually one of the best buttons that she could be pressing at neutral. Even though she has a lot of like far-reaching buttons, they are kind of dangerous to press. And let's see if Holiday is gonna press the burst here. Yes, indeed, you kind of have to. That was with Dizzy's combo length. That was probably gonna be a TOD basically if you don't spend the burst immediately. But yeah, that'll be Scarlet getting the first game win from that slightly unfortunate blood pop. But this is basically the Nago life. You are always, not necessarily always, but depending on your playstyle, you might be living on the edge. And your decisions will govern how much on the edge you are. Well, the Michael sword is kind of like an equivalent massive poke from mid-screen compared to Nagoriyuki's like level 3, 5 heavy. Let's see if we pressed. We indeed did. Unfortunately, that fish does not absorb hits anymore for Dizzy in this game. So you live with your choices. If you pressed, you are gonna take it. Good backdash. The wings will be gone as well. Although the opportunity cost on wings isn't terribly high, because it does not does not basically cost you any resources whatsoever. The only thing that it kind of asks you to do is sacrifice a little bit of frame advantage or okay, we get a good trade here for Nagoriyuki's DP round start, one of the classics. Attacking with the fishes. Oh, that's what we're talking about. The far slash whips it right in front of Nagoriyuki, and that is so whiff punishable. I think the only button that she can like feasibly whiff is her two S from the S and heavy buttons, but even that is kind of dubious if I recall correctly on the frame data. That's why you're kind of pressing like more K buttons on this character. Oh no, but crossed himself up. Let's see. From the minus situation. Uses the burst. We have a lot of meter on the deck. Would that reach? No! Especially, I'm not actually sure if Scarlet cancelled the hitbox or if that was just way too far away because of that back Fukio. But I think both players made pretty good decisions here. Like that reversal super from Dizzy does reach relatively far. It's one of its good points as a reversal super. But still, I think Holiday was able to get far enough away so that it did not hit. Oh, he's the jump D as a momentum staller in the air. Baiting up the teeny tiny 5P, sorry, the 6P that Dizzy has. Another huge mortal disadvantage for Dizzy is that her anti-air is not necessarily the best in the game, so you kind of have to tackle the anti-air situation a little differently than maybe some other standard characters. Able to get a 5K in there and switch sides. Here we go, set play galore. The frame trap very delayed, activates wings on that big counter hit. Now, unfortunately, the timer on the wings is gonna reset here on the stage shift. But Scarlet doesn't even end up needing it in the end. It is still like a threat in the back of your mind, even if you're basically not expecting for the wings to resolve in any near future. It is still like a ticking time bomb that you have to take into account. And that can force or sort of entice your opponent to do something reckless just by having those wings on. Even if you're, oh, big combo drop here. Huge life disadvantage. Can Scarlet actually make this happen still? Oh, but the jump heavy into far slash conversion does procure the round for Holiday. There was an opportunity, but it is tough, especially if Samurai Mix is available. It does pose slight problem in terms. Ooh, here we go with the clone. That is probably one of the better tools to send if you like want to be absolutely safe against some of these projectiles. I mean, the ice spike still does catch you if it reaches your current position of the main body. So it is definitely not for free that you can send that. But if the ice spike has already been used, as it was there in the RPS situation, oh, good bait here on that deflection. However, wasn't quite able to get there in time to punish. 50 meter going through this wall. What is Scarlet gonna do? The FRC not quite enough to keep Holiday in still. Collides with the fish. That gives Scarlet ample amount of time to punish Nago on the way down. Extended the pressure. Ooh, a little bit of a miss there. Just a little tad bit too far away. And now potentially looking for one more hit. I think a throw should do it as well. Attempting to do, I'm not sure what the mix-up was supposed to be there. Some sort of FRC shenanigans. The throw should be enough, right? OTG is almost also there. And just safe jump back. Actually just a super jump as well. If you just do a single back jump, then the Beyblade round start from Nagoriyuki could be a problem because it starts, or rather recovers so fast. Big damage. Holiday does have the 50 meter, tries to drift forward. However, I think that was just a reversal 2S press there. Wait a second, I think are Naga's buttons just so slow at that range that if you do a reversal drift forward with BRC, can you actually not get a button there before this is 2S goes active? This is like very precise frame data that maybe unless you play the characters you might not know. Yep, the Chestnut Plus frames into a tick throw. Very strong tool, activates the wings as well with the fish coverage. Doc Holiday can't really jump there as long as the high fish is in the game. Oh, the F-Shiki was properly guarded by Holiday. But still, we need to find a way out of this corner. The counter hit does give a hard knockdown into a setup. It wasn't the whole lot that Holiday could have done there. Tension, burst, all the resources were gone. Starting with a button faster than 10 frames, I think. Was able to poke the round start DP there from Nagoriyuki. And again, the F-Shiki is guarded. I wonder if Holiday knows about this particular setup. Are the wings gonna resolve anytime soon? Ah, they are gonna reset here on the stage shift. Again, the 2S, how fast is that? I'm tempted to pull up my phone because I can't remember from the top of my head. Is it a 10 framer? Or is it just that Holiday is slow, like 1 frame too late with that DP? 2S, it is a 10 framer, so it is a valid option to play against that DP. That is kind of cool option for Dizzy, because like unless you have a really strong tool against Nago's round start DP, then the round start is really dangerous to play. I mean, it's not like it's not dangerous to play either way, because Nago has sequences like backwards Fukyo into Beyblade and what have you, or back Fukyo into Clone, that works as well. Nice footsies. However, the 2S 5 heavy does quite not connect, I think, on the low scale of the low end of the block scale. I think you, depending on how close you are, you much rather would like to be level 3 in order that 5 heavy to have like maximum reach. Right now, big question, would Scarlet burst here? The safe answer is of course no, absolutely not. That is in fact what ends up happening. Scarlet holding on to that burst and now going into this last round with all of that massive burst advantage, and that burst is so useful against Nagoriyuki. I would say unless you have a burst currently available, Nago can just basically route into Clone! Go straight through the ice pillar. Can we get there in time? No, the small Mike getting the hit. And misses the sequence, unfortunately. Now we're working against a full blood bar, and if Holiday routes successfully, I think this counts as a successful routing. We are gonna get an even 3-3. That was a sweat-inducing sequence there. The pop, I think the ice floor actually worked against Scarlet that time, but it's not like you could have adjusted very easily because the ice the ice floor was already applied, right? And that does change your your acceleration a little bit. But wait, does it change for Dizzy? I think it actually does not change for Dizzy. It only changes for the opponent. But nevertheless, we were quite far away. Once again, Scarlet liking these mid-combo wing activation combos. So close to getting the wings resolved. I swear, we still have a lot of games left. There's the the interaction between the Clone and the ice pillar. Looks like it's timing, very timing and spacing dependent whether which one of those tools is gonna win. I guess it's like if the pillar is close enough to the main body or catching the startup, then the ice pillar is of course gonna win. Got the backdash! With the basic combo doing a huge amount of damage, and the positive bonus is gonna go online as well. We are kind of low on blood, trying to hard bait the burst here, or I guess soft-ish bait with a rift forward. But this position, I think a lot of players wouldn't even dare to burst here. Although Holiday, of course, has the option. or rather not having the option, but kind of has to, because they were the players sitting on only one heart left. Back Fukyo once again. Ooh, that's footsies, isn't it? That was the Michael Sword variant from Dizzy as well. Counterpoked by 2 heavy from Nagoriyuki, and with a swift and precise sequence, snaps the life out of Chrysalis. Or maybe slices the life out of Chrysalis. This time the option is walk back, which is another good-ish option against the DP from Nagoriyuki. The dangerous side is, of course, like you always have to still RP as whether there's gonna be a follow-up or not. Debating the wings and getting a throw. This is a nice time waster here. Now the wings are kind of close to resolving. Oh my god, waking up with a bite. I mean, that's, I guess, an okay read if you think the opponent wanted to go for another throw. Close slash is the option this time in this strike throw. Uh-oh, that's a counter hit. That's a big one. The FRC combo just barely misses. That was supposed to potentially be a wall stick and a kill. The deflect shield works wonders, giving Holiday a chance to strike back. Super jump straight into the 5k of Dizzy's. Both trading far range blows, but there is gonna be a pop and a full range conversion. The cool thing about Dizzy is that you can convert quite decent hits from even full screen away. So technically, where many characters would need to sort of dash in and go for a close slash, Dizzy can kind of start with an ice pillar and still do a very decent amount of damage, especially on that blood pop. Oh, but here comes Doc. Half of the blood bar still ready. That kind of looked like an OTG for a second, but no, that was just a successful combo. The blood relief is gonna be there as well. Scarlet working with a 25, sorry, 75. Reversal. Yep, that was a confident bait. Basically, Doc Holiday was like, okay, you are gonna reversal super. There is no doubt about it. I'm just gonna sit here, long range, not pressing a button, and just confidently punching afterwards. Now high block situation here. It's gonna be kind of tricky against Dizzy, because Dizzy because after like a 5 heavy, you are minus 6 or minus 8 or something like that. And if your opponent does have a like far-reaching, decently fast starting full range poke move, a full screen poke move like the Michael Sword variant, might be a little dangerous to try to press your heavy buttons again in that position. Ooh, slipping and sliding. Be careful not to slide into the throw range prematurely. Good control here from Holiday through the ice. And it's a little bit too short. Holiday was probably thinking that it was almost past the threshold of level 3, but the level 2 5 heavy not quite as far reaching. Got the opponent pressing buttons here. Are we gonna go with a shimmy? The forward jump shimmy this time. Calls out the naughty bite that Holiday tried to go for again. It worked last time, but I think Scarlet has that in the back of her mind firmly and ain't gonna fall into that same trap again. Although you could just, I guess, meaty there, and that would sort of usually beat the bite. Okay, this time the FRC combo works out perfectly, and scraping the opponent off the wall with that 6 heavy does bring a lot of blood back. Look at that, the blood pressure going down really fast, like, which also helps with this combo situation, because the higher your blood is, the more damage you are gonna take. Good 6p. Oh, here we go. Are we gonna checkmate? No, we're not gonna cancel that DP into anything. So, couple more blood bars left to burn. Here's one. Oh, is that gonna be a pop? That's a great awareness from Scarlet. Playing the burst management perfectly, counted the blood and basically said, okay, look, you used Clone Fukyo here and you were that high on blood. That means if I just press a burst here, there is nothing to be done. The round just automatically ends. Really great presence of mind. And that's why I was sort of hyping out hyping up the sort of the importance of burst against Nagoriyuki. It is one of your most important tools. Especially if you play a character that can sort of have a control at neutral, then you would probably usually like for Nagoriyuki to perform like a very, very blood-intensive combo and then burst him back into neutral with level 3 or close to pop. Oh, that was kind of sexy. Into basically a checkmate there. I mean, Scarlet did have a lot of FD to spend, but there's only so much you can do starting with a DP again. One of the hardest hitting round start, especially if hits counter hits, slides into a command grab again a little too early. Oh, but this could be a kill unless the wall gives out too early. But now Holiday has basically everything in the world to spend, and I think Scarlet did press here. Yes, indeed. So Holiday, basically this set started very, very even, and it is in a way very even still. But towards the end, Holiday has been starting to get more successes on those, on those RPS reads here. Once again, for example, leading the backdash here, close slash catching. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. Level 4 stuff. Here we go. Got the backdash recovery. 5k working from surprisingly far range for Nagoriyuki. And with a far slash sequence, sealing the deal on set point. It could be a Nagoriyuki evening here. We have a couple, and it's looking like Holiday is the favorite to win this one. Back into level 2. It does reduce the sort of the reach for your 5 heavy. It is interesting, like, if you are holding the opponent in the corner, I guess the optimal scenario would be to be just slightly above the threshold of level 3, but not so close that you don't have any blood to spend whatsoever. Like, for example, here, in this situation, Holiday probably can't really easily spend. So Scarlet has way more space to maneuver. However, into the bite, and that's gonna be the set. Yummy, sippy sip. Holiday turning up the heat towards the end of the set and able to get it for Team Nagoriyuki. Really great fighting back and forth. Was basically dead even set until that 4-4. Despite couple very unfortunate pops, and arguably it's like those were calculated risks as well. I think every time that Holiday popped, those were kind of like, okay, I'm basically threatening a kill here, and if I get the hit, then it's go time. It's just a win. All right, coming up next, maybe one of my favorite cards for the evening. Leif, one of our most active Bridget players on Bounty Hunters, against somebody that the Finnish fighting game scene, especially the old heads, the Exert heads, definitely love to see. Elda on a new character. And Elda has sort of browsed through a couple of the big buddies. Has played Potemkin, has played Bedman in the Strive front. Back in Guilty Gear Exert, Elda actually started out as a Milia player. And the age-old lore is that, I forgot who it was, but somebody told Elda to, just pick learn defense, pick a character that has to defend against the onslaught of the opponent, just has no option other than to block a lot. And that pick was Potemkin. And ever since, I think Elda has been a Potemkin main, or if you want to call one that, or I guess like a big buddy player would probably be a good sort of tag to attach there. But now this is kind of a tough matchup. So Abba, one of the characters who is probably the most abusable when it comes to sort of low mobility propositions for playing neutral. Unless you have your install active, it's really hard to go anywhere. Your forward dash is really poor. You don't really have an air dash whatsoever. The command dash is not that strong either. So you kind of have to find sort of your openings with installing at the right time, making sure that you will not pop back to neutral. That is probably one of the worst things that can happen against characters that can zone. And Bridget and Leif with that too heavy. One of I would say one of signature buttons for Leif for sure. Of course, a strong button for just about any Bridget player, but Leif especially, during the time that we've watched him play, has utilized that button extremely well. But here we go, this is the win condition for Elda's Abba. Keep the pressure going. The burst is going to be available here, not going to use it immediately. Oh, I think this hits the keeper of the key, especially when the mode is active. Such a good button to just, it's kind of like, what should we call it? Kind of like a why not button. If you are you know, far away, you could use it to just lock the opponent down. It's not like they can do much about it. If they trade into it, you get a massive combo. It's one of those things that Elda probably has to abuse a lot in this set if the opportunity arises. Because you need to pull basically all the stops that you can in order to overcome the distance between you and Bridget. We are still working with that default amount of jelly, but sooner or later you do have to worry about your life as well, even though the jelly is basically the primary resource to keep an eye out for. Health is kind of secondary, tension is, it's kind of cool, but you're absolutely not gonna get anything done unless you have an opportunity to install. And one coming in right here, OTG2S into downside. Was probably expecting there to be a DP here, but Leif staying patient. Burst into a pop, unfortunately. Didn't have the frames to uninstall, or maybe could have been worried about the kickstart or 5 heavy or one of the far raging bulks actually catching you in that situation. Keeper of the key with the normal mode, not as strong as it is in the install, unfortunately. Getting caught by the mix. Here comes more. Actually managed to land the overhead hit, but then landing into no combo. It is fine as long as Abba is not installed and you are in a spacing where you can kind of sway the Abba player to not just hit it at neutral. You are in a pretty good position. So kind of the sort of ranges you want to play as Bridget, preferably not necessarily full screen, but around, like, look at this spacing that Leif is playing here. This is exactly the spacing, like at the sort of far tip end of your far slash or your 5 heavy, around range where you can sort of not necessarily react to the install, but you can prevent the install from going online. You always have a threat of not allowing the opponent to hit it. And now Elda once again at very low health. Should be a kill, and definitely don't want to spend the burst. Or wait, yeah, this is burst round. I was like, we're not dead yet, are we? No. Oh, the far slide, or the 5 heavy actually caught the drop kick there. There are a couple of matchups where, ooh, that's a good 6B. However, from that distance, ain't gonna lead to much just yet. We have meter to burn, but this is kind of like a small victory for Elda. Now, Leif is actually very dry on tension for a very long time, so no YRC available here. The only thing that we can do is burst. But you don't want to burst when the opponent is so high up on that jelly. And in fact, Leif making the strategic decision here to not hit it at all. Let's just go into the next round with a full steam available. Into the close slash, found the hit with that multi-hit low. The command dash has been doing stuff for Elda, but still, even if you get it off, it does not necessarily guarantee that you get into that point-blank pressure. Now, install coming in with the jump in from 5 seconds. Are we gonna uninstall? Yes, indeed. Salvaging a little bit of that left. Install into, I think that was supposed to be an OTG or like OTG pick combo. And now popping here would be a disaster. I think Elda just can't avoid it from happening. This is basically Bridget's victory condition achieved. stick to the wall, and going down. But look at how long these rounds are taking. 55 seconds left there on the clock. Basically, a showcase of how long it's gonna take if you play by the game plan on Bridget's side. You have to play like, if you don't want to take huge risks, you are absolutely gonna play it like this. You're gonna try to just minimize risk, maximize the, like, you know, when you actually get the hit, you go in there, but without having an opening, you just zone. You just stay in that range where Ava just doesn't have a lot of good options other than maybe trying to go for a Hail Mary install. Because like if you move back in an attempt to build a little bit of distance to install, then Bridget is just gonna take that real estate away from you, right? And if you back yourself in the corner, it's kind of not a great proposition. 2 more seconds left here. What can we do? We do find a hit, and here the burst is actually good. When you manage to burst the low jelly Abba, it's kind of akin to a situation where you're bursting a very high blood Nagayuki, in a way. But Elda is going to be able to build decent, I say decent, but almost a full jelly bar here into overhead. Ah, the wall gives away a little too soon. Traitor wall. I think it is gonna catch the kickstart here. Man, that Keeper of the Keys tracking is phenomenal. It's like, I can count it with the fingers of my left hand probably when I've seen somebody actually outmaneuver the tracking of the install empowered Keeper of the Key. And it's funny, like the 2 situations when Elda had that install Keeper of the Key available. Hold that thought! We get a nice jump out of the corner. That was a conversion. And now overhead into, yeah, the optimal activation. We get a hard knockdown here as well as a full refund on the jelly. Ooh, I think Elda was meaning to go for a throw there maybe. But Leif just readied out and reads the burst as well. This is dangerous. Not to mention the jelly, but I think the Leif is just gonna run out here with that not very pro-rated starter that Leif was working with. Goddamn. I was a little worried about this matching. It's like Abba is a character who is extremely strong if you can play your game, but there's a handful of characters in Guilty Gear Strive, usually like some of the strongest zoners. Ooh, great read ×2, baby. Here we go. They should be around. It's like maybe 3 or 4 times that Elda has ever gotten a hit in this matchup, and almost all of those situations have resulted in a round win. Ooh, but a great counter read here for Leif. It makes sense to burst here though, because like if you have your jelly ticking down and the opponent gets a hit on you, they could run the clock with their combo and just make you full pop. So there's a lot of incentive to hit that blue burst if you do get caught while you have your mode active. Elda still has the juice to activate, but what about this combo? Reason into an overhit. Got them backdashing, I think. Unfortunately, the start of the round was super good, but didn't quite manage to finish the plate. Of course, Leif making good use of all of those defensive options. The wire sees the burst at the right moments. The DPs. DP is also like a decently good preposition, because like if you send the DP, that kind of triggers the APA player to think about, oh wait, does it catch here? It trades. Of course, in Elda's favor. I was about to say that should probably trade so that Elda actually gets a combo here. Now, Leif with that 1 pixel, I'm a little skeptical here. This looks kind of dangerous for Elda. Even with that 1 pixel, I mean, the keeper. Okay. I was sweating so hard. If you lose the position, if you go pop in a situation, even if the opponent has 0 life, they are probably still in a winning position if they are a zoner. Are able to be safe from that jump D. Switching positions, look at this control from Leif. Even when Elda manages to sort of get in, you are absolutely so ready to switch positions and just kind of get your back into the towards the mid screen. Ooh, but nice choice here, drifting forward. This is where it could start. Good use of FD though. Whenever the normal mode Abba is pressuring you, you want to try to FD as much as possible so that those Kara key crabs or even just raw key crabs can't reach you. Because that's like one of the better ways of Abba to keep her pressure going. But now, can we get anything going here? Successful blocks on the overhead mix-ups. Too heavy comes in. There was nothing that Elda could have done there, I think, other than go for a gold burst. Yeah, tragic. I think the instant air dash, the magic circle was already active there, and because Elda's frames were slowed, Leif could basically deduce, okay, I hit a too heavy here, it will hit from this angle, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're just gonna get comboed to death. Soft wall break, half of your life gone, but that's okay. That is okay. It is a resource that is slow moving Juggernaut is gonna have to use. Trying to backdash again, but the option was unfortunately covered by Leif. Starting with the drop kick. It is quite minus this patch. In fact, it's like minus, what is it? Minus 2? So strategically not quite like just minus enough so that Abba doesn't get the like super good RPS again, or rather anymore with her 4-frame 2P. And hello corner, my old friend. I think this is not gonna be enough damage, but Elda is reaching that critical threshold where, yeah, you kind of have to, you usually have to spend a little bit of life against Leif. A little bit of life to get in on a zoner. So like if you go basically bust on your hit points, it's a tough situation. All right, the burst has been taken. And the parry ensures that if Elda manages to get an install here, it's gonna be around like 8 seconds instead of the 5 seconds that you start out with. Yeah, acceptable losses once again. Is kinda how the rounds tend to start for Abba. But now, if we do manage to find the hit, but oh my god, this control from Leif is just too good. And the new Rock the Baby wall breaks have been the option of choice. Ooh, okay, get a DP there. I think there was a guaranteed one as well. So Elda trying to reach for the throw. Alright. 2K 2D into, unfortunately, went a little bit too close. That might have been a needy Danzai attempt there. Especially since that DP was probably fresh in Elda's mind from one of the previous exchanges. But from my experience as well, especially when you go really deep with that Danzai meaty, it is a very slow starting move, and even though it powers through a lot of normals, it is a little bit vulnerable against throws if you don't time it perfectly. Once again, Leif. Just absolute perfect textbook play. Not letting Elda do basically anything.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Even that 5B round start, a lot of characters do have like many good option selects from that position. So like unless the Abba player is doing like a micro walk back and then trying to whiff punish you immediately, it's not even something you can do on reaction. You would have to just commit to it. And the situational anti-air here for Leif. The trade in your favor is gonna once again put Elda in a pretty much a checkmate position here, unless you somehow manage to use this tension to... I'm not even sure what you can do here. YRC is an option, but what are you gonna do with the +10 from a far range position? Speaking of which, the YRC changes in one of the previous patches definitely not, I guess, not favoring Abba, because like you no longer can just YRC and get into a position where you could potentially RPS for a knockdown anymore. Set point Leif. I say that and Elda finds a good /activation here. Massive damage. And around 7 seconds of jelly left. Ooh, good backdash into a /. even though your pokes are super good, you kind of have to consider that you need to be at a certain spacing. Here we go, too heavy. Is it again? Is it again the too heavy that's gonna end it for Leif? Forced to block here. Good blocks, good solid defense, but unfortunately in Guilty Gear games, defense is not enough. You have to eventually get into the attacking position. The throw here. This could be the last mix-up. Waiting for maybe a reversal burst. Is Elda gonna go for it? The cross-up! Not rock the baby, whatever, Roger dive. Goddamn, it was just absolute perfect play from Leif. I can count the times when Elda actually managed to get a hit in this matchup with the palms of my hand, or with the fingers on both of my hands. Like, when you did get in, it was fairly good, but like, and not just the control, but then the defense aspect for Leif as well. Able to persevere in those install situations using a good mix of, like, especially timing the bursts at the right times, using a decent amount of DP to sort of dissuade, or sort of, whatchamacallit, like, persuade the opponent to use Danzai, which is definitely not a button that you would like to use as a button. It's kind of like a button that you have to go into if the opponent is very, like, reversal heavy, as to not give them too much space to breathe. It was, and then the wire sees the backdashes, playing the spacings perfectly. Like, sometimes even when Elda managed to install, it's just one backdash away and you're at a distance where you can maybe fire that far slash or the 5 heavy from Bridget and just prevent the massive red hitbox of the install normals from going active. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Just perfect play all around. It's the ABBA life. It's the ABBA life when the matchup is not good. They do say that this character is one of the better picks when you can play one of your good matches, but then absolutely disgustingly difficult when you face one of your bad matchups. Right, next up is going to be Lemmen Zato versus Tibisu, not Sin, but Venom. He's the character that Tibisu has been working with recently. Or rather, the character that Tibisu has been working with recently. Should be fairly decent for this occasion as well. Having like having an active projectile game that can snipe the puppet from mid-screen positions kind of forces Zato to once again play the matchup in a way where you don't necessarily rely on the puppet to get in, but you maybe have to flail, like throw your main body at the opponent, get the knockdown first, and then utilize the puppet. Not actually 100% sure if the matchup actually goes like that, but sort of a hunch. And then, of course, once the pressure is on with when Venom gets his pressure started, it can be a little tricky to get out of there. Like, your best bet is probably gonna try to get a jump off, try to start flight, and sort of float yourself out of the corner. It's just like it's always like this with Zato matchup nowadays. It's like it's been such a long time since we've seen like a decent influx of Zato players. It was more the sort of the initial periods, the starting periods of Guilty Gear Strive's lifespan, where Zato actually was a very good character and a lot of players were playing him. But now in the modern patches, you don't really see Zato players that much anymore. So like a rare character plus a new DLC character matchups, often like the kind of matchup you don't really see that much. Like, I don't think I've ever seen this lore matchup ever played before. Assassin versus assassin, lore heads rejoice. Let's see how Lemmen is gonna play. I think Lemmen has had to fight these matchups where you kind of play with your main body a lot. Matchups such as where's the matchup that we recently played for Lemmen? It was not the ABBA matchup. Yeah, the Happy Chaos matchup. That's kind of like my headcanon for how Zato has to play a lot of the times if you're facing against a character that just can poke you full screen so so without any effort. And I think Venom might be one of those characters, right? But now, another participant from Team France. Tibisu stepping up to the plate to show what's what. Right, go time. Super excited to see how this matchup is played. Now Venom is a very, like, even though Venom's kit kind of works the exact same way that it did in the past, you kind of play Venom a little bit more shooting oriented, if you will. Like, Stinger is such a strong tool in Guilty Gear Strive, whereas it didn't necessarily, like, it was a good tool previously as well, but not like a lot of the power level of the old kit has been sort of transferred into that one move, which can be a good thing depending on how much you enjoy doing that stuff in a matchup. And already we see the Stinger being sent over and over. Stuff like this can be very hard to overcome, especially if you're not in like instant air dash distance. Ooh, Dark Angel, can we get over that? Not quite. Landing straight into that massive red hitbox. Last mix-up situation. 5 heavy wall vacuuming move used as a tick throw tool, of course. Another very cool option. Going for a close slash anti-air here. Wait, is that Venom's close slash or is that his 6B? I forgot. I think they changed how Venom 6B looks a little bit. Yeah, that would be the 6B, right? Yeah, it still looks kind of same as ever, right? Now Lemmen's time to put in the heat. Once we get into the puppet pressure, has to stall for a time a little bit. Probably okay. What was that? The drive-by in the air, hitting the opponent from completely different side. And now Dark Angel, how are we gonna get through that? Unfortunately, already queued up the puppet summon. So the puppet is completely gonna get overrun. Here we go. Using that flight to sort of obscure your jump timing. And it should be enough, right? Into the mix-up. Even if the sequence doesn't kill, you're still gonna have to block a couple of back-to-back mix-ups. And we all know how difficult that is. Wait, Venom's air buttons seem kinda good. Tibisu has been catching Lemmen from really like weird angles so far with that jump heavy, I wanna say. Who got that with a tap? And with a BMB combo, it's gonna be 1-up for Tibisu. Yeah, it definitely does look like you have to play with just your main character quite a bit instead of relying on your puppet. The Stinger is so fast. Like, what are you gonna do? Summon into like oppose and absorb the projectile, and then what? It kind of does not lead into anything. A lot of the time, if you like blame, oh, but the drunkard shade. Oh, we might have found a tool. Then again, since Stinger is so fast, do you actually have to use that drunkard shade as a preemptive mechanism? Or can you actually react to the opponent firing their projectile? If button was pressed here, it's gonna be bad. Drifting, but not drifting close enough to get the throw. So we'll have to respect the full duration of the Stark Angel. Nice jump out. And able to get enough damage in the board with that one. Ooh, both players matching the height. The jump B, I think that was from Tibisu, not initially hitting. Well, his flight sequences have been really good. Again, baiting out the 6B and then coming down with the slow jump in. Once you get tagged by those a couple of times, that really puts a sort of a... It really makes you think. It really makes you consider your anti-air timings. But that's when a sort of a... That's when a senior Guilty Gear player would be like, okay, I'm gonna include... That was a really sexy looking drunkard shade, by the way. So when like a old-time Guilty Gear player would be like, okay, I'm gonna go air to air, I'm gonna go air throws, I'm gonna tag you out of it instead of having to commit to any sort of grounded anti-air. And I think this should be enough for Lemmen, unless they drop their combo. Oh, even worse, into the corner we go. But the meaty timing wasn't quite there, so was able to get the back throw. And Lemmen evens it up quickly, 1-1.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Once again, holding on to that flight almost the maximum amount of time. This time from the front. Oh, that one time when you commit to like a normal jump in timing from the float. Okay, I think Tibisu is starting to finally get a little bit of a hang of the timing that Lemmen is using to engage from those flights. Oh, great snipe there with the jump. B goes for the command grab a little too early. And now the corner is Tibisu's, able to get the jump off immediately into the flight. Oh, I think you might have to fly over here. But putting yourself in harm's way. I guess taking the jump B or the air throw there is much preferable over getting hit by a Dark Angel. Once again, look at that angle, staying airborne just enough that the angle of the shot actually does not connect. Okay, aligning the jump perfectly this time. Another counter hit. Yeah, that's definitely something that you can do. Tibisu has also started to sort of align yourself where Lemmen is gonna land, and then try to use the close slash to catch your landing frames. Oh, but the Robokai head is still there. The classic Dark Angel has a little bit of a twist into it in the modern version, and the Robokai shot comes after. You can both extend your combos with it, but also create like tricky pressure strings where if they do escape it, or usually does escape like in the middle of the Dark Angel, the Robokai head still comes and tries to tag them if they try to jump over. Successful sequence here, not quite gonna be the kill, but Lemmen with a really massive life advantage, and did unsummon as well, so they have basically full juiced sequence there. And then a classic counterplay to a strong projectile, just jump over. Not even instant air dash needed from that distance. Just jump forward if the opponent shoots Stinger. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Go with the aerial approach once again, just a little too far to connect with anything. Tibisu playing masterful footsies. into a setup. Oh, okay. Can we get a killing blow? Yes, indeed. The command grab from Venom is, even though it doesn't deal like the most massive amount of damage, unless you have some sort of a, you know, multiple setup to take advantage of the Super 2, you can most of the time break the wall with it, and that is a huge, huge boon for a character like Venom. Oh, just knew it was gonna come. Tibisu patiently waiting for the burst. Doesn't even hit a button. I bet was like completely fine just committing to holding that block until Lemmen hits the ground. And then if the opponent doesn't burst, you can transition into an OTG setup. You can just go for a close slash meaty. Not a huge pressure, especially like because of how the sort of the juggle knockdowns. What was that 6p? Glimpses of the old beastly 6p that Venom had in Exert. Yeah, great reflect there. And forcing Tibisu to use the PRC here. Yeah, the 5 heavy vacuuming the opponent in. And then going in, canceling into the what's it called? The I forget the. I'm getting old. I forget all of the names of the special moves. Try to set it up. Once again, plus frame straight into the command grab with a cool back and forth in the aftermath of the command grab as well. Dark Angel, I think there could be an opportunity to jump over. Once again, rather taking the jump B than getting ramped by the Dark Angel. And I think if you completely avoid the Dark Angel projectile, then Robokai Head ain't gonna follow up either. Ooh, got the hit with the 5D. One of the few characters in the game that can actually convert that without the use of tension as well, if you got the puppet active. It's kind of what the whole pressure kit of Zatos is all about. Going in, oh, but gets, oh, very close, but even with the one small grace hit, the Robokai Head comes back. Lemmen still not demoralized by that, just casually baits the burst and takes the round. There's a lot of stuff that happened there within the last, like, 3 seconds. Floating back and forth, landing into a successful block string. Now can we get in? Oh, with the last frame trap, perhaps. The far slash probably wasn't gonna lead into much anymore. But it's the most classic kind of defense against Zato. You block all the high-lows, and then when Puppet has already expired, you get hit by the last strike that wouldn't even lead into much anyway. Absolute classic from the beginning of time. Like Lemmen once again moving into the leading position here. The flight delaying the air momentum just a little bit too much to get a punish here, but now Lemmen on summon into more, bait the 6p on the ground. And into a big combo. Lemmen is flowing really well with these like small tactical nuke kind of combos, but then following it up with an unsummon and keeping up the pressure. It's kind of what I always say, it sort of differentiates absolute rookie Zato players from the good ones. If you can bring in balance between like cashing out completely, going bust on your puppet meter, and weaving unsummons in there as well. Successful 6p and instant air dash. We can do it as well. I mean, Zato has a lot of fireball functions, such as his drills. You can instant air dash over those, and he's put in a big amount of recovery. Once again, bamboozling Tibisu with the flight. To the other side, lands in the stinger. Good trade for Tibisu. That's gonna ground the opponent safely. Ooh, is the ball still active? I think it was. They did extend the active frames of those balls in the previous patch. No, the super just doesn't reach far enough. And now it's Lemmen's time to run it back. Command grab, that's gonna reset the puppet gates completely. Have to block more of this fucked up pressure. Here we go. Can you block the puppet and the puppet master himself? The answer is apparently yes. The last setup, looking potentially for a chip kill as well. PRC and following it up with a 6P. I think that was a really perverse kind of a situation. Who else thought that the 6P would have been would have needed to be input towards right? But it kind of looked like Tibisu was inputting it towards left, even though Lemmen was kind of on the right side. It's really weird looking situation. But I mean, the flight for Zato is a tool that kind of spends a lot of time in between. You could even find situations where you cross up, then uncross, and then cross again, depending on like what steering you're inputting for the flight. And maybe like the buttons that your opponent is pressing, because like remember, some of your buttons can move you forward like even a couple of pixels and make weird cross-up interactions happen. Alright, let's see the counterplay on the Dark Angel. The Jumpy again does generate the the Robokai head, which is actually what ends up triggering the wall break. Good 6P again. Tibisu has been on point with those for the last couple of games. Yeah, a simple 6P ain't enough. It's only the party starter, if you will. I think Lemmen hasn't been minding too much getting anti-aired, because like with the amount of rewards you can get from Venom's combos. Oh, speaking of those combos, we get a good one here. And can we go for a super? Yes, indeed. A little bit too far again. But I mean, it's not like you have a lot of good options. Dark Angel is very slow to come out as well. So unless you position yourself right next to the corner, maybe they're, yeah. This time is gonna be good though. What do you break with? Can you do like a micro dash into that black hole super? Is that fast enough? Yeah, in a situation like this, for instance. Once again, the timing of the 6P is good. Oh, and this time, that's also something that you can do. Just say, okay, I'm not gonna commit to the ground to air, or rather, I'm not gonna commit to that angle. I'm just gonna dash under you, or otherwise use my mobility to maneuver into a position where anti-airing is a little bit easier. Such as on the landing. Oh, the Dark Angel still delivering. The Carcass Raid out of the sky. Gotta be careful here. Couple more seconds of the puppet left. The Pierce. Ooh, straight into a big counter hit conversion. That was the most, like the fattest tick throw situation I've ever seen. Zato 5 heavy counter hit into basically nothing. Dash in and go for a damn fang. But hey, who's gonna be mashing buttons in that situation after you took a big fat counter hit? Good snipe out of the sky for Tibisu. Stinger once again, sending. Oh, that was a nice reflect. Trying to snipe with that Zato Jumpy, swinging a small miss, and now going bust in terms of the puppet gauge. Gonna have to take this pressure. Ooh, wait, there was actually a ball there! I thought Tibisu initially missed the anti-air, and a very strange frame situation there. Lemmen actually wire-seeing Tibisu out of the sky. Well placed 6P again into a setup. Yeah, there's a lot of chip damage inbound. With those 2 or 3 balls that Tibisu had on the field. So that's a big combo. I think that's probably the biggest combo that Tibisu has been able to get this set so far. Starting with a Pierce, dunking them with the frog. Don't you try to jump out. Going for it again, creating the opposing case. The opponent was trying to engage the jump K from Lemmen this time, able to get there before Tibisu did. Ooh, that's a great side swap. Into carcass rate plus frame pressure. What you gonna do? Probably try to FD as much as possible until you create a little bit of distance so that carcass rate can't be used anymore. Ooh, got the burst as well. YRC pushes the opponent full screen. Runs under, there it is again, run under, and then go for a really late 6P. Jump out of the puppet pressure, that works. If your opponent is summoning, or rather using the oppose, one of the best moves is to either run through or jump over, depending on where Zato's main body is located at the moment. And Tibisu, once again, breaking it even, 4-4. Starting to head into the late rounds here, this set. Both players have basically locked in a playstyle that is very distinct. Lemmen, of course, the BNB tool is the flight. I mean, you don't really wanna deal with the grounded game of Venom too much. So the RPS has basically been, you know, jumping RPS with a twist. And of course, Tibisu working with the anti-airs and sealing off the ground with those stingers. Oh yeah, I was thinking, what is that special move? But no, it's actually Venom's jump D in this game. That's what it is. Yeah, there is no longer match struggle to be had. Match struggle is basically Venom's jump D in this game, instead of being a special move. Now triggered with just a handy-dandy press of a button. Oh, that was footsies for sure. Got the unsummon in there so that the puppet is completely ready for another sequence. And he's gonna be back really fast on the stage shift here as well. Good angle on the ball. Catching Lemmen out of the flight. Oh, but great jump out as well. Unfortunately, the momentum for Lemmen was back from that jump, so couldn't really get anything substantial out of it. Yeah, and Tibisu smartly holding on to that burst, taking it to the last round now with a big advantage, or as much advantage as you can get with a full burst meter in Guilty Gear. Big combo! Able to cash out from those aerial counter hits once again. Ooh, the 6 heavy still got the hit! Cleaving the opponent out of the sky. The defensive option of choice for Lemmen has been jump, takes the burst into the command grab. This is where it all can start. Summoning the Pierce, once again the Froggy catches the jump. Jumping opponent, trying to exit the block string. Here comes the jumping pressure once again. Tibisu, ooh, jump K. The snipe, and then the tap at the very end on a 5D. Alright, couple of good straight back-to-back games for Tibisu. This is potentially an opportunity to seize it and then bring it home. If Tibisu manages to get the next one, it would be the first kind of moment either player has had a very decisive advantage. But let's not jump the gun here. See what Lemmen can do about this predicament. Forced to spend all of the puppet gauge. Does get very decent amount of damage milked out of it though. Ooh, and another great leap. Or Froggy, whatever that thing is called. Is it called Leap? I think it's called Leap, right? Little leapy Froggy. Ooh, it's looking so weird when Zato's just holding the flight and not hitting any buttons. And then Venom's jump P just not quite reaching there in the end. Ooh, big counter hit. The 5-hit does not combo though. Yeah, Zato really not known for his solo combos outside of puppet strings. But hey, that's how Puppet Master's characters have always worked in fighting games. Trying to stall for time. Puppet is back, but forced to jump B. locked in on the Dark Angel. Which side? Tibisu picks up the combo successfully. And into the pressure we go again. Jump D. Ends up airballing. Rather even Stevens in the live situation. Lemmen has 50 meter. Good try to, yep, indeed, go for the wire C. Immediate burst back. Just fighting for the last hit. Starting to be a little tough here. Tibisu could end it potentially with just a stinger, or the classic send Dark Angel and jump P. Intercept in the air and drop them back onto the ground. Right? Jump in, blocked into close slash. Not the biggest amount of damage you can do out of that though, I guess. To the other side, no, there's not enough momentum, unfortunately. Unsummon, once again, RPSing. Tibisu hits the button a little too early. And Lemmen dropping straight into a commanding position, into a punishing position through the wall. With that Sun Void, the puppet gauge is also refunded. As does the Sharknado here. Ooh, got hit by the Carcass Raid, so I think we're still in throw protection there. It's a very classic kind of thing that can happen. You're just trying to make the opponent block some stuff, and then they eat the hit instead. Maybe sometimes even as a counter hit, you're trying to transition into a throw, and then it's just damn it, gosh darn it. Okay, getting a PC here. Let's see if we manage to get the word out to our players in time. Yeah, but Tibisu not able to capitalize from that one game lead. Once again, he is even. But slowly running out of potential opportunities to adjust or make any sort of counter. What do you call those? I guess adjustments usually. Because we potentially have only 2 more games to go. 3 max. Basically an FT3 from here on out. Now the big question here is this a sandbag? Because I didn't see Tibisu's life running out at all, so this could just be quick exit to the lobby. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is here. Oh, never mind. I guess they're playing, huh? Which is okay. We're gonna miss one game of action. We'll be able to get the whatchamacallit, gonna be able to get back in there for the finale. So I assume from 5-6 position we resume. Tibisu would have to take 1 more game. Lemmen needs 2. Okay, just confirming from the players, it is indeed 5-6. As we're hopping in for the last moments. Who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be Tibisu's Venom for Team France?
Duel 1.
Or is it Lemmen who is gonna get it in the end? We'll have to play this last match is super tight if they... Ooh, but here we go. That's such a cool tool as well, because when you put the opponent in the ball with that command grab, you can create some really fancy looking sequences. Even if not super damaging, extremely flashy looking. Ooh, but as they were summoning the 2S, is this jump gonna go high enough? Yes, indeed! And able to float in the air. Just enough so that the Dark Angel completely passes. The damage was already done. Massive life advantage that Tibisu had. Now, game on set point. Rare footage of Lemmen actually being the one anti-airing the jumps. Puppet pressure is strong, but now the puppet is gone. Can we stall enough time? So close. Tibisu with the instant air dash jump heavy out of the corner and completely reversing the position, even though reading the throw, not getting the punish in. YRC, yes, is definitely in the reach to poke not just at Sato, but also nullifying the puppet. Oh, got the backdash. Both players looking for potentially one good conversion. That would have definitely been it. So absolutely necessary burst for Lemmen. 100 burst in the tank, or sorry, tension in the tank. Can we make something happen with it? Can we RC here? Is this enough? Yes, it is. So still alive for now. But Tibisu with a massive advantage here. Once again, another opportunity to end the set. Trading definitely in Tibisu's favor. Able to get a little bit of real estate there with the anti-air trade. Into the corner, using the blue Wild Assault for combos. 6P a little too early, but still had 50 tension in the tank to PRC option selected. In case we whiff, there is still a second wave of anti-airs ready to come. Ooh, what a Nash! Able to momentarily get a little bit of breathing room. The Lemmen still has the corner, the RC. Not sure what the idea was with that, but we are working with it. Comboing into the puppet. Super, can we get it? No, the misinput! Tibisu could still steal it. Jump PP out of the sky, staircase, but no, Lemmen is still in to play the grand finale here. 6-6. It has come down to the last game. Yeah, when we were at 5-5, it's like I don't know. Your bet is as good as mine. I honestly can't tell you how it's gonna go down. But whatever the case, this is gonna be the last game of the set. Ooh, actually, wait, crossing yourself up and then the carcass raid went into the wrong direction. I guess if you buffer the carcass raid like airtight, if the opponent did cross you from the jump D, it's like you can't really change the trajectory of the projectile anymore. Alright, YRC, super good value once again, especially when the puppet gauge was so low, forcing Lemmen in a situation where you have to stall quite a few seconds to bring it back. Going bust once again, the big 6P finds its target. Lemmen has a lot of meter to play with here. Oh, the jump, I think the jump, if we end their flight. He has a jump D, skipping to the other side as well. YRC putting an end to the pressure of Tibisu's. Oh, what a big counter hit. One more setup. Finds a normal throw. And then there's really nothing you can do here. Backdashing just gets you caught. Jumping gets you caught. You don't have any reversals. Just basically a situation where you have to take the pressure guaranteed. Ooh, again with that drive-by counter hit. Able to actually convert it pretty decently. Too much peroration though, I reckon. Where the blue Wild Assault didn't hit quite right. Getting sandwiched there in the sequence. Lemmen needs to stall a couple more seconds of time. Puppet is back, but now what? Where we finding a hit? Ooh, just landing into a far slash counter hit. Okay. Into Damfang. RC. Can we milk enough damage? No, it's not enough. And Tibisu instant air dash out of the corner. Back throw. The old faithful. Last dance for both these players. Once more, it's Lemmen who starts it up, but can't quite combo into anything substantial once again. Carcass Raid, plus frames, dealing with the stagger, 2k, 2k. Ooh, that was nice controlling of the physics there. Making Lemmen end up in the corner in the end. Carcass once again into a command grab. This won't end the set, but positive bonus, full burst. Tibisu has been nice timing there, catching Lemmen trying to exit the break the law. Is that enough? Has the burst. Get caught, but Puppet is back. I think this is tough RBS here. Jump D to the other side. And coming down with the jump D, there is no choice. Tibisu just barely manages to take the set. They went back to back for the whole duration of the set as well. Freaking 13 matches of absolute back-to-back action. But in the end, battling for the corner, it ends up being Tibisu who ends up in the on the right side and takes it with a jump D. All right, next up we're gonna have another ABBA match. So Viking versus ABBA action. This will be completely different kind of a meta here, I would say, compared to the earlier ABBA match that we had to watch. ABBA versus another sort of rushdown character is gonna look completely different than ABBA versus a zoner. In fact, Viking, one of the characters that are maybe on the lacking side of neutral option, or like has a little bit of a lack of far-reaching, well-converting moves. Like, of course, you can do stuff like heavy kabari from like half screen away, which arguably maybe is a decent tool against ABBA. It's like many a time your heavy kabari just isn't necessarily like the best tool out of the tools that both of the characters can bring into the mix. But when your opponent is so immobile, can't even jump over like properly, then even slow projectiles like the heavy kabari or like fireball functions like the heavy kabari are gonna be pretty decent space control tools. We do have Angelo. We're still waiting for Ember. Like even though the heavy kabari might be an okay repellent at the sort of mid far range, ABBA also has the option of kind of exiting the opponent's sphere of influence and just hitting the install without too much risk, I reckon. It was much more difficult in a matchup where, like, you know, against Bridget, you are almost always at the active range of Bridget's normals. But since Viking can't really access that area as fast as Bridget can, you could feasibly, like, maybe if the opponent actually tries to zone you, like if it comes down to heavy kabari play, You could maybe dash backwards, hit the install, and then go in. So you have way more options, way more opportunities to actually access your win condition in this kind of a matchup. Do we have Ember, though, is the question. Or do we potentially have to play a different matchup first? I'm okay if we switch it up a little and maybe ask if Rygand and Oren are ready to hit it. Let's do a little scout. Okay, let's see if Rygand and Oren would be available. If so, that would be a Leo versus Dizzy matchup. Another matchup that you don't necessarily see very often. And of course, it's another like another case of those how to put this, like a senior player picking up a new character, being at the very early phases of their sub-character learning experience, like learning journey. So there are some things that you still haven't mastered yet, but often enough in a game like this where you can utilize your fundamentals, your experience with other characters. And believe me, Rygand has a lot of experience on characters other than his main. He's definitely not a stranger to learning new characters in this game. So you kind of have a interesting setup in terms of like who can you match that, like the OG player against. We do have Rygand. Now we just need one of the, like either one of the either one of these matches second players to come through. So either Ember or Oren. Also, howdy everybody. Hope you've enjoyed the matches tonight so far. We still have potentially three matches left. The one shown on the screen. After that would be Rygand versus Oren. And then the last matchup slot would be Emu versus Davo. Davo? Which one is it? Say it isn't so that we don't have either of the pairs ready to go. Either is fine? Okay. Oh, I guess, wait, now that I think about it, so if it's supposed to be like a rhyme, then if it's Davo, then it would be davopotato. But if it's like the other pronunciation for potato, then it would be davopotato, right? Is that how it works? Exactly? Damn, I'm so good. Well, I guess we do have Davo in the chat. Should we try to reach out for Emu as well? Okay, so we do have Ember actually. That works, so we have Ember, so we can proceed as per schedule here. I hope. The rare ABBA matchup. He's like ABBA versus Biken. ABBA. Winner takes it all. Something. The December cards that Neat made also are like super cool. Love the little snowflakes. And especially the have you been naughty or nice in the top left corner. Always super quality work. We do not deserve this good stuff. Might be in the whatchamacallit, the handshake loop for the servers. Forgot to eat today. From my competitor Ember. Don't do that. Get some help. Don't forget to eat unless you're fasting. Then go ahead and don't eat. But drink Wawa at the very least. Okay, I think we have both the players in the lobby. So we can finally proceed with some good as guild gear, as we say in the industry. Here we go, the fifth matchup of the evening. This is where the going gets rough, or how is it? We still have, like, after this, couple of really high-level matches on the card. So definitely good stuff to come for this evening, though. Let's see how much we actually get to play the ABBA this time around. Of course, you know, even if you aren't playing against the zoner, the mobility sort of disadvantage is sort of pronounced even against like standard characters, depending on like what ranges they'll have to poke from. Now we got an install, and we got a lot of damage. Half the opponent's life bar is completely disseminating, like for the overhead as well. Able to get a uninstall here and install back. 100 meter into tank as well. You're pretty much not waking up from this block stun if Ember doesn't want you to. But the miss on the 6 speed, sorry, the 6 heavy there. This could be a combat opportunity. However, the long reach of the 2K from ABBA. One of the better buttons. ABBA really has like super cool buttons for the close range play. Not just 4 frames 2B, but also her 2K is kind of good. Reach is really far away, and another really great button to mash out with, unless you're like completely point blank, where you usually, I guess, press 2B. With the OPG, we are still connected. But I think this should be hitting. I think I saw far slash. Yes, indeed. The momentum breaker. Ember potentially has an opportunity or option to install here still. But instead, just hop kicking forward and ready to anti-air there. Checking out the situation, and we indeed have a really good angle for a 2S. If there's one thing that ABBA is really good at when it comes to playing neutral, it is the anti-air department. But the problem is that a lot of characters don't necessarily want to come to you like that a lot of the time. They would much rather like stay away from your active poke range, try to bait you into maybe going for like the hop kick, make yourself -2, or like swing with a 5 heavy and be minus afterwards, stuff like that. Or trying to like bait you into activating from a position where they could potentially still punish it. Now full bar of jelly, look at that, the buttons are massive for this character. Playing footsies on a Jealous Rage ABBA is probably one of my favorite things in this game, having played this character as well. It's just too bad that you can play the neutral game for so long. It's like if you actually had more time to just like maybe backdash around, it's like the backdash also is really great when you go into your mode. If you had more time to disengage, then this character would be absolutely nutty. Ooh, the gun is absolutely gonna whip! And the tip range of the 2S gets the anti-air for Ember. Drops the combo, not even getting a reset out of that, unfortunately. Although the reversal super also completely airballing. I guess even though you dropped your combo, Ember was plus enough from that drop to still be able to block the reversal super from Viken. And there we go again. 2 quick back-to-back games. Yeah, it looks completely different when you actually when you can actually go into your install mode. In a way, like just activating your install is a win condition in itself. The only like huge obstacle you usually have to work against is the opponent's burst, because like if they generally like a smart look at that matrix dodge. That's what I'm talking about, the backdash. I think the backdash in Jealous Rage is like one of the most fun things about the character. You can bob and weave, go back and forth, in and out with how much you can move around and how fast you can move around on this character. Sees the startup of some move. Deems that it is okay to press far slash here. And just absolute berserking from Ember.
Duel 2. Let's rock.
It's a really tough proposition as well. Like, if you have your burst and an ABBA player who is basically on 10 seconds of jelly, gets a hit on you, are you gonna burst like this that Angelo just did, or are you gonna tank it with your face and try to wait for until Abba is like semi-low on that jelly and then burst? These are kind of the choices you have to make. A lot of the time, like the winning play, if you're a zoning character, would be to just tank it up and try to get a burst and make Abba go like jelly pop. But I guess like the kind of character Baiken is would much rather try to avoid the damage, because you don't really get like a decisive advantage as neutral. I think even if Abba goes bust, you still have to go to Abba in a way on a character like her. Able just in the nick of time to get the install. And here we go again, drops the combo, but we are somewhat safe here and holding down the corner until Angelo able to break out of there. That's too heavy from Baiken is very punishable if not cancelled. It's actually a very common. Oh, okay, we're going for a moon ride. And Ember is choosing to hold that combo as well. YRC into the corner. I think you can block here, right? Yep. FD cancel, even if you pressed something. Can still break the startup of just about any normal in this game. Really special kind of a system mechanic that I think it's like first 2 active frames or so can still be FD cancelled. Oh, are we in a loop with DJ Ember? You're in the mix. Oh, that's good. That's a big hit. Yeah, this is the problem. If you burst out of like a high jelly Abba combo, the Abba still has jealousy to play with. They are still in the mode, and you're probably gonna lose the neutral afterwards unless you pull through with some sort of a miracle. Keeper of the key, is definitely a tool. Alright, three straight ones from Ember. What is the adjustment that Angelo could potentially make here? Well, the reversal parry certainly gets your play started. I think Angelo is like for the most part trying to hit confirm the 2 heavies, and when you don't actually find the hit confirm necessarily, then your cancel might be just way too late. Able to block the fully charged 5D this time. Look at that tipper. Ooh, just hunting the opponent down with that tip range of far slash. Or is that 5 heavy? They kind of look the same. I'm not sure if I can actually, even if I played this character, I'm not sure if I can recognize the difference between those two on a glance. When you're in the mode, by the way. The activation this time baits the reversal parry and big damage inbound. Even if you sort of drop your combo, sometimes you have an opportunity to go just a close slash OTG setup instead. This is going to be a pop, so I think this is first time we're seeing Ember having to deal with this full pop situation. You kind of need to interact with the opponent, either get a key grab to build a decent amount of jelly, or alternatively go for the Rekka Ender, which does build you like around 25% of your gauge back. Ember, in his pressure, is playing a lot with these like Rekka 1s. The threat, of course, is you can do Rekka 1 into slightly delayed Rekka 2, which could potentially frame trap you. Go with the 4-framer. Ooh, the physics keeping you close, but yet so far. Back throw could install here if Ember wants to. No, opting to instead set up a fully charged 5D, fighting fire with fire. Okay, even if you get hit here, maybe not the worst kind of situation. I think dialed into the 5D, close slash 5D, ended up getting a hit, so ended up comboing naturally. Interesting. We'll go pop here. Close enough to get the tatami this time. Angelo also has 50 meter in the tank, so snipe with the gun could be a thing. Attempting to go with the jump D, however, good 6p from Ember. Trying to special move their way forward. -2, however, able to get a 2p in there. Wait, I think because Baiken's 5-framer is a standing button. Your 2p is 6-frame, right? So if you're crouching and try to mash against the hop kick, that's actually not gonna work. So you would have to stand up and press 5B instead if you want to beat Baiken. Sorry, if you want to beat Abba's 2p from that situation. Plus, 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 plus. Ooh, that was a nice kabari there. Oh, but colliding with the massive air hitbox of that jump. Heavy or was the jump slash? Mix up, left, right. A couple of different options we can do here. Goes with the most optimal thing. Dance out of the stance and then enter it again with the key grab. Alright, jump back, jump slash. That is definitely one of the best defensive maneuvers that you can pull off. Especially if you think that the Abba player is going to be jumping at you. But if they're going to be running at you, then that's kind of a dangerous proposition. Danzai hammering it down from close range. Beats basically every single reversal option that the opponent could do, unless you have a super that sort of can pass through the downside. Right, on whip, goes for the heavy kabari follow-up. Angelo, kind of a good position here. Yeah, I guess has to respect the potential reversal. Oh, sorry, the whatchamacallit. Anyway, Angelo able to get 1 round in, but the thing is, we do need 2 in a row, or not necessarily in a row, but 2 in a game to be able to move up in score. And currently, it looks like Ember has no mercy whatsoever. He's going in with those big Abba combos. 8 seconds of mix-up time. Misses the, I think was maybe meaning to go for the F-Shiki mix-up there, but didn't quite get it. Can we get an uninstall? Yes, utilizing the RC mid-combo uninstall to be able to weave it in and not lose any offensive momentum. Yeah, Ember. Oh no. Are we getting a disconnection again? Ah, good old Strive lobbies. Well then, let's see if we are in luck or not. It would be a little tragic if we're gonna lose the last match here. But such things have happened before. It's whatchamacallit, Murphy's Law. Whenever there's a chance to get a disconnection on the last match of the set, of course it can happen. Whatever is the funniest outcome. Whose law is that? It's gonna be my law from now on out. I think the players, it did look like the players are playing this out, because the hit point bars for both players did move in the previous round. So it looks like Ember has a chokehold on this set at the moment, if you will. Decisive life lead. Set point position. Ooh, signs of life here. Ember's life bar is moving a little. Can we still survive to fight another day on Bounty Hunters? With our last pixel of life, so close. But no, it is gonna be 7-0 this time for Ember. Yeah, it's kind of funny. The first ABBA set here was 7-0 in favor of Bridget, and then in this one it's gonna be 7-0 for ABBA. But that kind of follows the narrative that ABBA is technically like one of the best counter picks in this game. Like a lot of tournament players say that ABBA really ain't a great solo character. Because you have too many matchups that could just be a bracket killer. But if you do have two different characters, if you can cover ABBA's bad matches with a different character pick, then you potentially have yourself a really strong duo of characters. And in fact, some of the strongest players in Europe are running the dual main strategy, such as Tiger Paw. Now, hope we actually have Oren available. Two relatively high-level matches coming up. This is with a twist though, because Rygand ain't playing one of these older characters. Definitely not a Mei here. It is a slightly different kind of gorilla time with the Leo, or as we call it, Liu. Because I heard some talks about Rygand and Radun going back and forth. Like, I learned all of my Leo tech from you. Which probably, I'm a little doubtful if that's the case. I think Rygand definitely a player who does some research for their tech on the interwebs. Alright, confirmed gaming. Probably first time I see Leo versus Dizzy. And the sort of the limited mobility options for Leo could be an issue in this matchup. You only have your step dash, and you always have to worry about the ice spike. Dash blocking is definitely a thing that often happens in matchups like these, where you can't necessarily gain quick access to Dizzy, and you have to work your way forward. Dizzy potentially has a couple of different opportunities to put a couple of spikes out there. Apparently Leo's worst matchup. I could see it. I could see it.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society. So instead of reflecting on themselves, they blamed the beasts. Heaven or hell.
Another aspect is that, DC has much more time to take out those summons, especially those fishes at neutral. If your opponent can't gain access to you immediately, then yeah, being able to start neutral with, you know, just summoning a fish and using it as coverage is a huge boon. Oh, slipping and sliding, a little bit of Looney Tunes, but still gets there in time. Rygand working with the corner, that I think that wasn't a punish, but generally is minus enough for you to be able to connect, I think, a 7-framer. Which these should probably have fast enough 5k for that, right? Tapping the 5B, basically I think a safe jab. Very common start of your pressure as Leo, especially when the opponent has their reversal available. In this case, ooh, that's kind of cool. Dashing under to get the corner position. Even with a little pixel of life, Oren, with this heart knockdown, is gonna have an opportunity to try to turn it up. Oh, it's leaving the active ice pillar there. That move has had its active frames increased exponentially in the previous patch. Starting with the 5k, yeah, the button, one of the MVP buttons that we were talking about. Look at that, he reaches really high as well. He's just trading with the DP. My goodness. Yeah, I reckon the Ice Spike is gonna be one of the MVP tools to play this matchup with. Trying to get out of the corner, however, Oren ready to unleash the counter air throw. Evening the rounds. Okay, that looked extremely impressive. Yeah, I can kind of see what the game plan is gonna be here for Dizzy. And when you put the ice floor on, like, what is Leo gonna do other than just slip and slide in place for the most part? Can you even get any acceleration with the step dash when the ice floor is on? Is a big question. The classic air-to-air situation from PRC. However, Rygand, a veteran of the game, knows that one of the only escapes in that situation is to take the throw if the opponent goes for the most common option. There we go, sending the 2D. Should be the kill. Yes, indeed. Rygand starting it up 1-0. Oh yeah, wait, did I? Oh yeah, I forgot to put the room back to rematch. Sorry about that. So resuming the rematch sequence from 1-0 Rygand lead. This is first time we see Oren on the Bounty Hunters, and it's really cool to see more Dizzy representation. Dizzy is kind of like a character that we, like, despite the sort of quotations low tier status that she is currently on, there are a lot of avid Dizzy players. Like I would say she's probably like one of the sort of crowd favorites. Players who really wanted to play Dizzy are sticking with the Dizzy. Oh, it's Chestnut Loop. You do have a lot of more options than the Dizzy release patch nowadays to interact with that. For example, the FT does, oh, hold on, Weapon X, powering through the fish, as well as Dizzy herself. Yep, you actually absolutely have to have this counter play. But as a Leo player, you absolutely have to try it as well. Like, if the opponent is open to the Berserker / cross-ups from pressure, it's one of the easiest way to get started. One of the easiest way to mix them up. Yep, oh my god, even if Rygand jumps out of the first ice spike, even if there's an ice floor between, it's still so difficult for Leo to actually engage even by jumping in. If we are at full screen. Yeah, this trade into the ice spike, goddamn. RC to make sure that this combo is gonna happen as it does in the movies. Ooh, that's definitely one thing you can do. If you can manage to sort of throw yourself at Dizzy before the Ice Spike goes active. I think it has a sort of blind spot in its startup. Not necessarily the fastest thing ever, which makes sense considering like how many actives it has and how much reach it has. Oh my god, I thought Rygand already passed the Spiller, but it's still active. Successful SDP here. Looking to get things started. That's a good instant air dash. Cross up. Working, I'm guessing somewhat in Rygand's favor. Even though you kind of get pushed in the corner. This time it's gonna be Oren who goes for the instant air dash. Mixing it up a little. Waking up with a super. It's gonna be a lot of RPS in this matchup. When you have a character like Leo on screen who, you know, loves to make you guess, loves to make you react to things as well. If it's not guessing, then it's gonna be like super high-end, whatchamacallit, mental stack kind of a gameplay. It's a successful jump in, finds the combo as well. Skip to the other side with the stance. Now tough position here potentially. Oren has 50 meter, opting to not take the throw this time around. Burst, yeah, has to use it. 100 meter in the tank, trying to send the 2D, which is usually a pretty good option to send if you have meter to back it up. Then it is not gonna be punishable on block. But Oren actually used, I think this is 2S. No way! Oh, but the launch from the FRC is a little weird. I think Rygand might have not been expecting to get the hit there because Oren was already blocking between the sequence. So might have gone for like a little bit of a panic FRC there, trying to convert into the, I think what you usually do is the FRC jump PPPP.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society. So instead of reflecting on Duel 1, let's rock.
There we go, spending basically all the resources immediately to contain Oren in the corner, slide straight into the throw. That's kind of the awkward thing about, like, when you manage to build momentum on the ice floor, sometimes it can make you, it can work against you and put you in awkward positions where you can get thrown. Wings are active. Ooh, Wings might actually do something here. Oren has a lot of meter as well. Resolve? Wait, did it resolve? It was active for so long, but it just for some reason didn't go off. Here comes Rygand. The mix-up is low. Into another low. Good blocks, but on the last frame trap after the overhead, you can still send to the turbulence, which is sort of buffed in the modern version of Guilty Gear Strive. Used to be sort of punishable if the Leo player sent it as a frame trap, but now it pushes Leo so far away that it's often just a neutral reset kind of a beat. As the 50 meter, we are gonna take the heart knockdown. A 50 meter on Rygand as well, so the weapon X is potentially available. Opting to hold the burst bar to the last game here, or sorry, the last round. The safest kind of play. Look at the spacing on Oren. Like, I'm starting to see a lot of things are aligning perfectly for Oren, especially the spacing here. Trying to go for a couple of spicy far slashes. A lot of these far pokes with normals are very punishable, though. If you rely on them too much. Plus frames. Oh, I'm getting a big counter hit. Restanding them after the combo, goes for a reset before the wall breaks. And, oh, what happened here? The side switch. Oren, I thought Oren had the kill, but alas, the weapon X is close enough and gonna get a hard knockdown for Rygand. Safe jab, just in case Oren wants to wake up with the super. 100 in the tank. Oh, that should be a kill. What? RC is available as well. But the wall break is good too. 2-2. 2-2-2-2-2. Alright, Rygand. I think the amount of experience for Rygand on Leo was... what was the amount? I think it was something around like a week or so of experience that Rygand had on this character. So still at the very beginning of your sort of journey. Oh, this time was able to dash forward, like a step dash forward into a jump to overcome the far range spike. There's a little bit of finesse in this projectile play. If you want to use a spike, are you gonna use the far one or are you gonna use the sort of the nearby one? Ooh, almost getting the late air dash back shimmy there. Back throw, this could be tough. Oren is sitting on a lot of resources and does not stray away from the chestnut as well. A tool that is absolutely crazy good for dizzy pressure when you manage to get the opponent in the corner. Of course, much better if the ice floor is active, but hey, plus frames are always plus frames. Good jump into pressure. Oren staying tough. Staying safe, sending the 2D. Getting a little combo for it as well. There we go, minus on block. Sending the DP, the RPS as all this time. DRC, just in case that the opponent was jumping out. Here we go. We are in the stance. We are in the jungle, baby. Oh, good jump though. Aligning perfectly so that Rygand's back turn heavy just ended up completely airballing there. Might have not been able to hop to the other side with the ice floor. Physics active at the moment. Collides with the chestnut. Sends the SDP, however, Oren stays patient as hell. That's one of the reasons why dash blocking in matchups like this is often like super valuable. You might feel tempted to use some of your strong reversals, and believe me, Leo has some really good ones. But if the downside is if the opponent is patient, if the opponent just wants to wait what you're doing, then those reversals might turn into huge misses. Oh, the gold burst actually works out, so Rygand getting the positive bonus there. Questionable though how useful the meter is for playing neutral as Leo. I'm unsure, like, Leo doesn't really have like super good things to send like full screen per se. If you are in 2D range, then sure, 2D RC is one option you can utilize. But Oren has been really good at counter poking that 2D as well. Since Dizzy has like a good option against it with in the form of like 2S. Oh, that was an interesting RPS there. Micro dash into back turn D. Basically saying, I think you're gonna hit something on your wake up, I think, unless that was a miss input for Rygand. Clashing with the... okay. Oh, and with the ice physics, the chestnut is like especially dangerous, because like if you're sliding forward as Dizzy, then you don't need to micro dash between those chestnut casts. Once again, using the close pillar. Far pillar into close pillar has been one of the staples for... oh, there we go. I guess that was Rygand was trying to read. I mean, it does cover the opponent's reversal super as well. Yes, it's Rygand trying to jump back from the round start position, gets an air throw, and now one combo could beat. However, using the What is that? What is I always forget what that is called. It's the number 1. The artist formerly known as Rekka 1, now just 1. I guess that's like just a single standalone lariat function, which Rygand has used very successfully so far. It is like decently far reach considering like what other tools Leo has available for its startup. Gliding once again with the Ice Spike, setting up the Fish Oki. Trying to poke. Ooh, no! Rygand potentially falling into a throw punish situation. Especially since what Oren ended up whiffing with was Far Slash. It does have a lot of recovery, but maybe what Rygand thought is that I'm actually minus here, so sending the DP while Oren was simply blocking. Another really good sort of showcase how the players are sort of on different wavelengths for how they are, for one, wanting to play the matchup, and two, how they are expecting the opponent to play the matchup. There we go, this time the flash kick works out, and getting a little boom there. Can utilize the ice floor as a sequence ender, even if you are not the Dizzy player yourself. Yeah, Dizzy still has pretty decent throw game. Getting the mashes in, but not... Ooh, okay. This time not getting the throw, but the 2P does prevent Rygand from transitioning into a successful pressure sequence. Now working with the corner, quite minus there with the lariat. Trying to send it, trying to make something stick. There we go. Finally a sequence we can send that 50 meter on. Once again, far pillar blocked. Protect yourself with the S pillar. It's the far version is the heavy pillar, right? And S is the close option, if I recall correctly. Oh, there we go. Glimpses of what I see from Leo players, and it ends up working out. Leo is a really great character for, you know, sending seemingly like super high risk options, but being like a character whose kit kind of makes the opponent fall into those, like kind of makes them participate in those risky situations and makes them guess wrong a lot of the time as well, unless they're extremely patient. Starting with the 5 heavy, one of the most active tools that Dizzy has in her kit. SDP works out once again. Falling into the S pillar. I wonder how that's on in terms of like frame advantage. I think generally should be minus for Dizzy, right? Maybe. Yeah, the physics have been installed, and the jump slash actually gets there in time, just before the projectile goes active. And now Rygand looking to land one more hit, 100 meter that he has to contend with though. Safe jab, there we go, the power of that tool. I think no sort of meter burn was gonna be good there. I think when Leo just goes for the safe jab 5B, you initially have to respect it and then potentially contend with the follow-up move. You could try the reversal afterwards. Like if Leo is going 5B, waits for a couple of frames and then tries to resume their pressure, yeah, there absolutely is a gap in there. But of course, characters like Dizzy don't necessarily get to utilize that all too often. Missing with the lariat ender, straight into the SDP. Sliding forward, that's a big conversion, so goes for the full conversion and actually gets there. Gets close enough to get the wall break as well. That was a cool conversion. Yep, Weapon X. This is what we do when we have 100 meter and absolutely need to get the opponent off of us. Which is kind of the sort of jig with the hard knockdown wall breaks. Finding a hit, can we do enough damage? The turbulence does not miss this time. Rygand is sort of starting to acclimate to sort of adjust to what is happening here in this matchup. It's understandable. Started out very, very aggressively trying to catch Oren making hasty decisions, but Oren, very patient play here, all things considered. Not really all things considered, but just patient play. Oh, look at that! The momentum that you get from the jump D. I've never seen that before. That's a cool interaction. Can we do it again? Oh, but the ice spike is there. Yeah, of course, like, Oren having seen that the opponent has that in his toolkit is probably gonna be thinking about it from here on out as well. So like, of course, you could just go for a standard anti-air if you think the jump D is coming, or just put active frames in there if the opponent is trying to like whip a jump D into like a makeshift momentum dash. Maneuvering there, is able to completely dodge with that PRC and getting a throw. Mix up time. Plus frames, we don't care about those. I didn't set it up correctly, I guess. I think with the RC, it should be very hard to get the throw on that Berserker Slash usually. And enough time here, enough meter, enough resources, enough everything for Oren to maintain this 2-game lead here. Right, definitely in a commanding position, but it is not yet done so deal, especially when you're fighting against somebody who has played this game for a very long time at the highest level of play. The aggressive burst. Oren does have an option to burst out himself if he wants to, but I mean it's a better deal if you can get out of there without spending the burst. You kind of feel it out if the opponent tries to hard bait, or if the opponent accidentally drops their combo or stuff like that. Weapon X once again. We should be able to get the skip to the other side combo this time. The jump D, tried to go for the anti-air. Dizzy with the 6P, it is very small, so you have to have an absolutely perfect timing on your anti-air. That might have actually not been 6P even. Might have tried to anti-air with a 5K. Maybe. Okay, installing the ice physics. Ooh, okay. The the S Sonic Boom is kinda good, I wanna say, if you know that with an absolute certainty that the Rizzy player is gonna send the fishes. It at least gets rid of the lower fish. Anti-air opportunity here. However, comboing into the lariat. A little bit minus. Good blocks on the mix-ups again. I think so far Rygand hasn't been able to get like any of the back turn heavies in. Ooh, that's a great response. Sees the opponent sound the fish in your face, micro dash forward, get a throw. But looks like Oren is gonna procure this round. Really important round here for Rygand. If you yield, oh, there we go. Finally getting the overhead hit. I mean, it is not reactable, so the opponent is technically guessing. Dropping the combo, it's okay. Maybe an intentional drop here, because you do get the last last bit of bounce with the ice floor, even if you do drop it. Which buys you a little bit of time to transition into your next sequence. There we go. Rygand still a bloodhound in the tail of Oren. Nah, we're not done yet. A little bit of a breather here. Potentially breaking the momentum. These are very, very important games coming up. I mean, the previous game was important, but I mean, so are maybe like perhaps like every single game from here on out. That was a nice dash jump. Goes for it again. I'm being patient, waiting for potentially shenanigans. Maybe jump D, maybe, you know, just empty jumps. Oh, that's gonna be a punish though. Yeah, and gets it with a 5K. Ah, the physics preventing the travel of 2D from doing anything. Rygand does get a hit in the follow-up situation though. All players with meter. What can we cook with that? That shouldn't be a kill just yet. Weapon X, we can cancel. Actually does so. Wait, ends up trading. I think that's no, that's not in Oren's favor. Damn. Yeah, I think that's probably, if you time that FRC correctly, should be fairly difficult for the opponent to get any sort of interruption in there. Looking the maximum cash out combo. The thing is, when you're working with your like biggest combos, it applies so much proration that the rules of the game dictate that the opponent is going to start building a lot of meter as well as burst. The more prorated your combo is, the more of those resources the opponent is going to build. Oh, that was a nice angle. Missing with the anti-air there, Oren, and it's going to forfeit their life as well. Rygand has managed to eliminate the gap. We are now even, 5-5. 2 more games for either player.
Mankind knew that they cannot change. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Anti-airing on the landing phase with the far slash. Or staying patient, although opting to be a little bit more mobile here. Oh my, wait, did they just throw the, was that a reversal? Wait, how does that work? Was that the heavy DP or what? I'm able to control the space with the Michael Sword variants. And would that be enough? Oh, the ice floor actually ended up expiring before the throw animation went through. Huh. That's unfortunate. Orange still was able to get the round there in the end. Ah, the step dash doesn't quite get Rygand deep enough. Now Rygand has learned from this set that even after you block the spike, it's kinda hard to try to challenge Dizzy afterwards, because there is always an option to use the S spike afterwards too. Ooh, and finds the hit. The downside here is the Weapon X was quite the costly option, so now even if Rygand does find the hit, you're probably not gonna get the wall break. Yeah, with the 5K anti-air, it's beautiful. Using the tool to its full extent. And it's kind of like what you're lacking in reach with the 6P. you get a little better, or like a little bit further reaching hitbox with the 5k. It's kind of like a 5p plus in a way. Because like this is jabs are not the greatest anti-airs either. So you have a little bit of extra reach, but have to work with slightly slower startup anti-air. It is still a great anti-air button, don't get me wrong. Like all standing normals that have fast startups have the potential to be like really, really good in Guilty Gear Strive. And while we're talking shit about that, Oren actually closes out the round, making this a set point position. Starting with the 5k again. Checking the round start micro dash into buttons, which is very common round start for Leo players. Oh, the actives, the spike was still active there. The last bit of life, sending the Lariat RC. This does get Rygand into a mix-up position, however, there's a little bit of a hiccup there. Wasn't quite able to connect with the back turn heavy, and now the last moment jump B, able to ground Oren into the stands. The jump game, ooh, the anti-air DP. Frames are slowed, tries to find a bulk on the opponent, air to air, please, please give me something. Rygand shimmies, throws, now take this mix up. The low is the option, blocks the overhead again. Are you kidding me? Oren has yielded to that overhead like literally one time this set. Rygand disengages after the deflect shield. Oh my god, he can't take anything on block either. It's gonna be so much chip damage. Oh, from downtown, sending the big mic. Holy shit. Rygand was avoiding every single hit for like 20 seconds in a row. Knew that there is probably no coming back. If you take something on block, was trying to bob and weave back and forth. But finally, Oren finding themselves in a spacing where sending the Michael sword is a good proposition. I mean, there is always an option to just heart rate it, go for an instant air dash, but with that life situation, do you dare? Do you dare? Great stuff though, seeing this matchup that I don't think I've ever seen before. Played by, like, bait the best you can with the little amount of time that you've had on this character so far. Rygand, basically a week one Leo player, still doing good work in the matchup that is allegedly one of the hardest for Leo. Is what we learned today. Okay, we have one more left to go. Emu and Davo. So, Davo was supposed to have his debut match last week. Unfortunately, that matchup did fall through. But we have another attempt here versus Emu's Chip. One of those fly swatter matchups. If you manage to catch Dizzy, sorry, not Dizzy, Chip. I mean, same difference. Both of those characters extremely soft to the touch. But yeah, very polarized matchup, and sort of polar opposites are often, at least in my opinion, kind of fun matchups to spectate. Chip has basically all the basic tools that you could ever want in an anime fighting game. We got the godlike movement, extra aerial options. We got the 9-frame DP, good mashes, good pressure. Rekka is amazing. Kara cancels for, you know, simple wall breaks from basically any hit as long as you're, you know, anywhere close to the corner. We got mix-up potential, especially with the newly added tightrope. Yes, there's a lot of cool things to say about Chip. The only downside, your health total. Which is consequently one of the one of those features that Nago is really good at taking advantage of. Like often we say that in Guilty Gear Strive, because everybody does so much damage anyway, Chip's low health total doesn't end up like mattering all that much, because like many characters die on 2 touches anyway, 2 or 3 touches. But the difference ends up being like fairly noticeable when you pit like the softest character in the game against one of the hardest hitting characters in the game. And it's not even very rare for Nago to just convert big hits. Like a lot of your hits just go into a lot of damage naturally, period. Ooh, opening it up with a high Rekka here. Oh, and utilizing that new 2D as well, which did get its hurt box updated, so it's very retracted, or basically not there at all nowadays. Right, Zanzerog, unfortunately this does never break the wall. So we usually use it in occasions where you're absolutely sure that you get the kill. Yeah, look at that. That is the difference maker. And Davo still has a lot of block to make magic happen. DPs are definitely okay options here, because like one hit, there we go. I was about to say, any hit is gonna get you killed anyway, so might as well gamble. Ooh, wait, was Davo not in range for that bite, or? Interesting. Oh, the counter poke quite heavy, and there we go, the Kara cancel supers that we were talking about. Rekka super. One of the classic methodologies to go into your positive bonus loop. Here we go. Oh, that hurts. Is Wall cooperating? Wall is kind of cooperating and breaking early, yet the 6 heavy that you can do after the wall break, basically worth a super's amount of damage, right? Caught them with a fire slash. Tried to backdash there, I reckon. Blood pressure is going down, so Davo is soon going to... That was a nice backdash, right in between those strikes. But I think even though that sequence ended up spending a lot of blood, Davo was still pretty okay. Good management of the unique resource here. Again, the classic question: was that just the game 1, or did I forget to put a point on one of their accounts? Yo, the snipe with the jump D. That was a perfect angle as well. Although the here we go. Opting to start the sequence with again Rozan. Can't really do much here. I don't think the 6B would be fast enough to get that jump heavy. A very strong round here for Emu, capitalizing on that blood pop. Starting with the deep. Oh wait, you can still deep it with a clone like that? I don't think I've ever seen that before. That's kind of cool. Blood is going down. So the lower life you have, the better, or sorry, the lower blood you have, the better your other buttons are gonna be. But then on high blood, the heavy buttons are gonna stand out much more, gaining super long range. And you know, I guess disabling the part of your kit where you're like, okay, I'm gonna use my special moves. A lot of blood burn there on going, unfortunately, on an OTG hit, but all of these heavy hits bring home quite a bit. Oh my god, that was a gamble. That was definitely a gamble. I think if the blood-sucking universe does not land here, Davo is gonna go bust. But that's what the Nagoriyuki life is all about. Leveraging kill opportunities when they present themselves. And I mean, it's not like, I don't think Emu had the burst there either. So like, you have way more opportunities to do those flashy and or risky plays if the opponent can't just like see you do a blood burner and then just bursting you back into a guaranteed blood pop. I think the players noticed, so we are gonna be able to resume this from an 0-2 position. Alright, going to resume from here. I'm kind of amazed because the perception so far for me is that Davo has been using a lot of blood. It feels like using a lot of blood in the pressure situations, albeit a lot of it is, you know, Fukyo movement. And Fukyo doesn't really cost as much as like the heavy blood burners. But it feels like considering how much Davo is doing during his offense, he's managing to manage the blood gauge like surprisingly well. I guess this is what high-level Nago play is about in the end. Ooh, and a good 2K. Yeah, Chip is a matchup where you probably have to use your lighter buttons much more. Be it like 2K, 5K, or maybe even your P buttons, depending on the occasion. Ooh, get the far slash out there before Beyblade went online. And now the super jump, one of the few options, unless you want a blood burn, one of the few options that you can actually move as Nagoriyuki. And these DPs as well. There's something about Davo's DPs that sort of is different from the other Nagos, like. That's a dangerous whip though. 6 heavy, pretty great on block, but pretty much any heavy button from Nago is super whip punishable, especially for a character like Chip. If you're ready to react, that is. Now Davo with a lot of meter here. Not quite full 100, so can't just send the super here. I mean, you can, but you don't have a get out of jail for free card in your pocket yet, or anymore. Okay, so got Zanzeroga. I think it's gonna be enough this time. Yeah, especially since the blood was pretty high. So good decision making here for Emu. There is no air super other than the Zanzeroga that you could go for. Like Banki Messai only available if you're grounded. And unfortunately, like a lot of those wall clean combos, like they are some of your harder hitting combos, but they disallow you from getting a super wall break. Unlike these sequences, when you are on the rope or when you are on the ground, Bunky Messai coming in clutch. So much meter. Yeah, this is just that. Wrap it up. Slice it up, boys. We're going to the 4th game. Imu opens it up. 1-2.
Mankind knew. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Yeah, Chip is kind of a cool character because you have, in general, more options for dodging than many other characters. Like if you just want to make Nago burn blood, if you're like absolutely sure they're gonna send a Beyblade or like a clone Fukio, you can be in so many different. Huh? What was that? Wasn't the 2S, was it? It kind of looked like that was a 2S anti-air. Say it isn't so, senpai. What the hell happened there? That must have. I must have blinked. I refuse to believe that was a 2S anti-air. No way. Alright, mixing it up and wrapping it up from the tightrope. Oh, that's a lot of blood spent. But again, finds a way to circumvent the fact that you are kind of high. Finding the blood-sucking universe, it's your fault if you're not defending against the command grabs. Oh, the delay there, just perfect, catching Davo's response. In with the 2D. The wall unfortunately giving up a little too early to get the Kara Super in there. That's a punish. Look at the perfect movement, the late air dash back and landing perfectly into the recovery flames of Beyblade. That is always nice to see when players manage to thread the needle like that, because Beyblade is one of the special moves that are really fast on recovery comparatively. So even if you jump at the wrong spacing or the wrong angle, you might just have Nagoriyuki recover under you and then press close slash and then still anti-air you, even though you kind of meant to dodge the blood or bait the blood out. Alright, we got the wall. Very dry on tension, so has to spend a couple of strikes in order to build that up. Sending Hyreka into a reset. Still not enough though. That is another very interesting RPS situation when you're drifting towards each other, both having your frame slowed. It's kind of like a game of chicken. Who's gonna throw? Who's gonna backdash out? Or who's gonna jump? I think jumping is generally not recommended because you are on your slowed down frames. Right into the loop. Oh, that looked kind of weird. Was that supposed to be some sort of FRC option? Big combo, but can't have a, like we discussed earlier, can't have a wall break here, even if you did have meter. Ooh, tried to send it. It's one of those, like, characters that have air DP actually have an extra option for situations when your opponent PRCs under you, which is the air DP. Oh, that didn't pay off. Although Davo wasn't quite able to convert it as well, and DP on block, that ends up being a chip kill. Wow! Slightly unfortunate. Davo might have been as surprised as I was getting a hit on the shuriken. I wonder if that shuriken was a miss as well. Very like uncommon looking situation to go for that. Oh, we bait the burst, holding back when it counts the most. Counter hit, can convert that into blood-sucking universe. Might as well take the little blood bonus. 100 meter. Is there a killer here? I think you can RC, and I think that's probably what's gonna happen here. Yep, into a couple more hits. It's not enough, are you kidding me? And Imu ends up at the like most dangerous position imaginable against Nagoriyuki, in the air when Nago has close slash available to be pressed. Burn the blood, burn it all. I mean, wait, the funny thing is, Emu could have burst it there. That would have been a guaranteed kill because the blood pop was unavailable. But I mean, sometimes it's hard to see situations like that in the heat of the moment. Right, this round working a little bit better. Starting our positive bonus loop. Davo has options. YRC is in the tank, and we in fact end up going for it. Burst just... Oh, no. With the target just by a little couple of pixels. Big damage coming in. This is level 3 Nagoriyuki after all. This could be very close to a kill, actually. The last slice is gonna deal enough. That probably wouldn't have been the case if Davo was on like level 1 or level 2, but level 3? The modifier is so low. -2. Taking the opportunity to instant air dash out. Chip moves so damn fast that even like an instant air dash jump heavy, even though many other characters would just easily get anti-aired. Speaking of anti-airing, sending a very committal too heavy. Still, I think that was not a punish, but caught Emu trying to press something. Looking like might have been able to recover in time. Time to get the wall. Now be extra careful here. Even though Davo doesn't have the reversal super or YRC available, you can't... Oh, that's so smart. The only resource he had left was the burst, the deflect shield. Oh, but it's not enough! With the smart 5p mash, I would mash as well if I was, you know, in a position where 1 pixel is to be shaved off from the opponent. 3-3 even again.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Taking the turn, I think the 6k, is that, I think that's minus for Nago, right? I hope I don't get this wrong, otherwise I'm exposing myself for not knowing Nago counterplay at all. Right, 1 more pixel to be taken out from Emu's life bar, but can we get there? This is a good counter climb, or start of a counter climb for Emu. The opponent is starting to build a lot of meter though. I bet a lot of sequences that Emu is gonna play is gonna try to target, like, being in a position where the opponent can't really input their reversal super cleanly. Like the ground, the ground alpha blade, the cross ups, probably like I kid you not, Davo was absolutely mashing the super there and trying to get the PRC at the end there, but wasn't able to get the input correct. Right, another great position to be if you're Emu. The reversal super wasn't available at the start either, so don't have to worry about that. Although Chip does have a, I think Chip does have a pretty non-trivial to execute safe jump. This is going to be enough once again. Emu liking these wall cling combos into Zanzeiroga finishes. Really good routing as well. I mean, if you have an option to choose like what combo you go for. Although, if I recall correctly, Chip, like depending on your starter, you're kinda locked onto the kind of combo route that you need to go to. But either way, it does seem, oh, getting bitten here. It does seem that Emu has had a really great game sense for like what needs to happen so that the opponent dies. Try to double it up and go for another bite. Cheeky. Maybe even naughty. Are you going on Santa's naughty list if you bite 2 times in a row? Okay, the trade here, not necessarily in Davo's favor, or was it? Definitely burning all the all the plot that you can go, you manage to in that situation. Once again, the RPS is on. Ooh, tried to go for a 6P, I think, but completely missing with it. And now Emu working the corner, Bunky Messai. This time the opponent has the 50 meter from the start. Let's see what we're gonna do with that. Are you kidding me? The perfect positioning there. The micro walk back makes the wires he actually whiff. Looks like the tightrope doesn't seem to be too susceptible to deflect shield. First time I actually see that interaction. Davo not exactly phased though. Able to get the kill on Emu when Emu already had that 100 meter as well. Side by side, they advance in points, 4 for each. And who's gonna take the next one? Yeah, Davo, I think I think I've seen Davo use that same round start a lot of times. Yo, was still able to combo into another 6 heavy? That's so much damage, holy shit. Never fuck around with level 3 6 heavy. I think it was a level 3 still at that point. Judging by how much damage Davo was able to deliver with that. Big block on the overhead, but it's still never over. As long as you— oh no! No, oh no, straight into the anti-air DP. I mean, that's— if there is a fly swatter, that's probably one. I mean, 2 heavy as well, right, for Nago. Blood problems are solved. Even if we missed a lot of blood burners here, I think Davo is sitting pretty comfortably. Yeah, it's not even close to a— huh? You anti-aired with the far slash in that situation? Are you kidding me? That was a downwards alpha into a just a straight up far slash, just straight up jorking it. Wow. Okay. I mean, I guess Davo was expecting was hoping for a glow slash probably. The 2K not quite close enough to combo into anything from that extended hurt box of chips. The pressure is over, and now mine is on with the blood buff. But finds a DP here. Emu has had pretty decent success in the most darkest moments. Especially when the blood is basically reset with that blood-sucking universe. Tried to press a button there, but chose it wrong. Oh, the spacing trap works out once again. Chip, one of the best characters in the game for that kind of shenanigans. Not even shenanigans, that's just like solid stuff. And the 2K preventing another engagement. Perfect choice of buttons, I want to say. DP into— yeah, once again, the DP into clone Fukio. Very costly, costs you like 2 bars, but also sort of prevents the opponent from playing the game for a lot of, for a long time. Plummeting into Stratosphere. Oh, but Davo sees that, drifting forward. And ending it up with a quick overhead. When there's no hit stop or block stun, or like hit stop. When there's like no hit stop, it's kind of hard to see the whiff of the first hit of the DP, which is like exactly why a lot of people get hit by sequences like that Davo just played. Alright, a very early burst here. Now I want to say there's a lot of sweet blood burning options available for Davo if he actually manages to get the hit here. Still being pressured in the corner. Yeah, the trade definitely not in Davo's favor. A neutral trade like that still keeps you in the corner. Here comes Emu once again. Block this jank-ass high-low mix-up. Should be enough with the wall cling slashes. One of the hardest hitting moves in the kit of Chip Zanov. Emu is actually on the set point here. It happened so fast. Now bullying the opponent with the Rekkas. Ah, there we go. Nice choice there. Predicting the Rekka 1 into nothing. First becomes available for Davo, so there are lifelines left. Swings a 6B, okay. Time to start my game. There we go. I think that's the exact situation where Emo has been DPing a couple of times, so... Jump D combos? Jump D combos! Yo! I'm not sure how difficult that is, but judging how little we see those, I'm gonna say that was probably an advanced combo, maybe. Oh, look at the backdash, completely whiff, making the Rekka 3 whiff. Finding close slash Davo, yeah, probably has to burst considering how much meter Emu has. That would lead into a really nasty positive bonus loop. Davo's still alive. Close slash goes active before Chip gets to throw. Footsies. Grounding Chip with that. Oh, that disjoints. Perfect choice against the DP. And that's gonna be Davo. Cutscene, or wait, I think I was mixing myself up. I said Emu was on set point. It was Davo who was on set point, right? I'm so into this shit that I can't even count correctly. Yo, that jump D combo was kinda lit, not gonna lie. If I recall correctly, I think the jump D combos are often like maybe slightly better damage than some of the other alternatives. Of course, depending on the route. Good stuff. Davo taking it over one of our regulars on his debut match on Bounty Hunters. Dear me, would you look at the time? It's pretty late. But also, our show is gonna be over for tonight. And if you would like to play in subsequent events, I think this month, Christmas Day, yeah, is in the middle of the week, so there should be no interruptions or distractions for the regular Bounty Hunter schedule. So 5 p.m. CET is the timing that we're gonna play next week as well. If you want to sign up, join my Discord, fill out the Google Docs, and we'll set you up with a player of your skill level. Now, before we go, let's see if there's any Guilty Gear Strive action going on at the moment in twitch.tv. I think there's usually decent amount of tournament options. Yeah, there's gender cross-up is going on at the moment. So let's do a little bit of a raid. Send you guys over there. Yep. It's a really fun week, really fun matches. And we are gonna see you with more of this FT7 show match stuff next Sunday. Till then, stay safe and play Guilty Gear. Peace out.